Everybody wanna know. Everybody wanna do. Everybody get into these. Nothing basic is gonna be. Because they know. And then hate slow. Cause they wanna know when they know. Wanna go where they go. Cause they know it. Cause they know it. Cause they know it. Cause we know it. Cause we know it. Cause we know it. Know it. Cause we 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 know. Cause we know. Cause we. Cause we. Cause we know. Cause we know. Cause we. Cause we. Cause we know. Cause we know. Cause we. Cause we. Cause we know. Cause we know. Cause we. Cause we. Cause we know. And I wanna be in the place where you are. And I know what we need and what we finding far. Tell me places on the bar. Take me to places across the stars. On the barn, on the barn, on the barn. Take me on the Mars, on the Mars, on the Mars. In the Vesica. Sure, none I need. It's what you wanna be. You wanna Trying to catch a beat, survive, find a line, do the night, in the mind, do the night, all night, catch a ride, catch the vibe. Do it right, 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 do it right. Got two of our competitors here. We're just missing the other two. Person I don't know has started following me on my TikTok. Yes, sir. Yes, indeedly, Bob. Between all right. I've told pretty much every single person I possibly can that we are doing what we're doing here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your masters of Negronomics for the evening. We have up to an hour where we can wait for our competitors to enter into the arena. Currently, including myself, there are 3 physically present. Right now, I am both waiting for opportunity and an option for a couple of people to arrive. In the meanwhile, we're going to bring our competitors up to speak. How are we doing today, men?
I'm doing fine.
Ready for blood.
He is ready for blood, he says.
Nah, I'm just gonna run away.
I didn't sleep at all last night because my mom took my grandpa to the hospital. So I was waiting for them to return, hoping that my grandpa's okay, which he is. I think his blood pressure medicine was too strong, and that's what was making him feel like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and picked up my dad at like 5:30. And at around 10, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to bed. And I got up at like 2:30. So I'm fresh from a nap.
Okay. Any thoughts currently going into the tournament? Any prep that you feel like you still have yet to make? None whatsoever?
Yeah, I'm good. I had a sandwich, I have an Arizona with me. I'm fine.
And going into the Fatal 4-Way, do you have any idea possibly what could be waiting for you on the other side of that door?
Nope.
You?
The competitor single-player Carl has no comment, but me, as the host single-player Carl, I can only tell you that is going to be one tough competitor to beat. He went the entire time almost seemingly playing with his food, retaining a strong stance on his front line and back line dominated positions. What's going to be your plan to beat that competitor going into the fight?
Random bullshit go.
Hold tightly onto the pillow.
It is the opinion of this commentator Carl that he has no idea what you mean.
We're gonna get fucked.
Is it truly your hope that you believe that there's absolutely no way to beat such a strong opponent inside of the arena?
I mean, it's possible. I've done it, but like, I'm gonna call those flukes, but I'm gonna use it to my advantage as confidence.
If I third-party Wickerman, maybe.
Is it possible that you could be able to somehow find a way to fluke to possibly knock him out of the tournament?
Yeah. It's possible.
If you run Coraline and I play Dilene again, then maybe.
Well, let's just hope that the other two competitors, when they arrive, have similar ideas. Carl, what's your opinion about all this? I tell you what, they can try what the fuck they want. They gonna lose. You know why? Because I know each and every single one of your fucking hang-ups. I have studied you. I have watched you grow in my hand like a child. And as your parent, it is time to teach you the world of hard knocks. Today is gonna be a hard lesson for you, and I am your strict instructor, and death is your final exam. You better remember this shit, cause I'm gonna be grading you on a steep curve. The curvature of my dick, nigga! Tough words, Carl. Tough words. And do you have any particular advice you'd like to give, or anything you'd like to say to these competitors as they enter into the arena to fight? Nigga, they know what the fuck I have told them. I have told them, and I have told them. Now I'm gonna show them with the broad side of my foot. What is there to say? Some people want it, some people don't. I have said thousands of times, nigga, you can't teach hunger. Well, They've been to learn what starvation feels like today. Tough words, Carl. Tough words. Competitors, do you have anything you want to say against that message from competitor Carl?
Sorry, I was reading the Gooseworks fucking drama.
And Mr. McFancy Pants, what about you? Any words that you'd have for Carl's colorful language?
I think the gif that I left in the just Discord chat explains how I feel.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the opinion of the competitor that he believes that he is, in fact, a dead man walking. Now, Carl, how do you feel about those words the competitors have for you? Exactly what the fuck they should expect! What, you thought mercy is what I give? No, you don't have to take it from me. You're gonna have to rape me. You better rape me today. Very interesting words, Carl. Very interesting words. Let's go to a member of the public. The public members being invited up to speak. Welcome, competitor watcher Megalag Lag. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Carl.
And is it the case that you happen to have known anything about this before opinions were said inside of Symposium over in the Devcord?
Which opinions are we referring to?
That there would be a tournament today.
That there would be a tournament today?
Yes, that is correct. That is what I said.
Well, I guess that is fine by me. I literally just joined here like 5 minutes ago.
And from the strong language you're hearing from these competitors, what expectation do you expect to happen today at today's tournament conclusion in the Fatal 4-Way between single-player Carl, Master McFancy Pants, not Rogue Sight, but Reflex Sight, and our missing competitor, Mr. Bloodwolf?
Well, I suspect that, 3 people are going to die today.
Any speculation which 3 of those people it'll be?
Reflex Sight, Master McFancy Pants, and the missing competitor.
Really? No faith at all in the potential that they could be able to knock out He of High Fade?
No faith at all.
And what leads you to have no faith in these competitors to face single-player Carl in the arena?
Well, judging by the Discord call side chat, it seems one of them is terrified.
Yes, the words quivering in his queefing boots has been used by the competitor, describing his competition.
Okay.
Did you happen to catch the broadcast of the Day 1 knockouts?
No, I did not.
What did you happen to think of the fact that Carl has chosen to take time to create a tournament with people of his audience for the grand prize of $20?
$20? Well, I don't think the $20 is going to remain open. I feel like you're going to win outright, Carl.
Well, fortunately, the way that he constructed the tournament, it is the case that if that He of High Fade was to win the tournament, that the money does not return to him. It is instead going to go towards those that can then be able to claim the top position in the sudden death 3-way. If single-player Carl was to take the entire pot, it is the case that He of High Fade would have to recuse himself, and then the last 3 competitors would have the chance to face each other in the Fatal 3-Way, and should they survive the Menage a Trois, they can be able to walk out of the arena $20 lighter and 2 bodies less heavy.
Then I give it to Reflex Sight.
Really? Absolute confidence.
Absolute confidence. I have no idea what the tournament even is about. And, yeah, that is my vote.
Reflex Sight, how do you feel about this vote of confidence from the member of the crowd?
Well, that's nice. I don't know, it'll be fun.
Is it possible we can use the Sunday Night Football theme? Yes, we can. It is possible that we can, in fact, use the Sunday Night Football theme.
Da-da-dun, da-da-dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Just the discount version.
And as we have this conversation, we are also going to wave over to one of our very famous benefactors, Mr. Exo Crusher in the audience, happening to go by the name Touchdown because YouTube is a piece of shit, choosing to give $130 of his own money to this particular venture in the middle of round 1. As the competitors play for their lives, he ensures that all of those that happen to be watching at home can truly feel the love out here, because the Negrohood is on full display and showing their best for who they believe will be the winners in this tournament. Now, it is the case that those of them might have not even understood that there's a tournament happening, but that's just the case. You're missing 75% of your Carl Cord content if you happen not to tune in. So remember to always support your Carl and to become a standing supporting member of the United Negro Carl Foundation, because a Carl is a terrible thing to waste. But here in the ER tournament, where there are absolutely no quarters given, and at least 1 quarter given up somebody's backside, in this tournament we are watching competitors compete against each other in the video game Eternal Return, free on Steam, which is an anime-esque isometric top-down battle royale shooter, in the sense that the competitors will be manually piloting characters with player kits similar to design of that of League of Legends. They go into the arena of Lumia Island, and as the pawns reach the end of despair, they will reach the end of their ropes, having to dip, duck, dive, dodge, and deflect aggro, destruction, and devastation both from themselves and each other, all to become the Victory Royale winner and the last survivor, because in the Lone Wolf tournament, there are no teams, and there is no escape. We saw competitor single-player Carl absolutely wipe the floor with his team, not just showboating, but actively demonstrating exactly how the game is played. On the point system, we also had the complete upset that despite competing in similar-ish fashion, the upset was brought when we saw competitors actually see Mr. McFancypants happen to face off against Bloodwolf, one of the expected hopefuls of the tournament, having been knocked out, one of the players that are considered to be the strongest, if not the second strongest, compared to Carl himself, with an upset guaranteeing that both J Funky and Reflex Sight would have the placement in the tournament, but somehow escaping the wrath of knockout.
Yeah.
It's just the case of the matters, people, with the game not being decided by chutes and ladders, but instead of the official point system of ER Ranked. There are no vegans here, only people who experiment with fiber. And it is the opinion of this Caster Carl that as going into the arena that we're going to see a lot of them learn to love the meat, because if they don't make Carl eat that meat, well, let's just take it over to Carl in his own words. Well, as you know, as I already told them, they better get ready for that cock meat sandwich. I take head today, bitch. I got permission from my woman to fuck each and every single one of you in the mouth. Gargle, gargle. You can find Theraflu on the desk. Now, let Megalad, with the words coming from competitor Carl, what do you expect to be his particular strategy going in? We've heard his words of antagonism for his competitors, but we always know that Carl is a psychological being. Do you think that there is an upper hand that he's trying to get out of them? Possibly get his competitors to give him some level of a real fight so he can respect them as he takes them down?
Perhaps. Carl is not the kind of individual to win a fight and like it if he doesn't respect his opponents.
Yes, I believe that you are one of the many people who was there on the days of his debates, both on the WIC stage as well as in his own audience with people watching from across the internet. Tell us, in your experience with dealing with Carl, have you ever known him to be the kind of person that just shows antagonism for no reason?
No, there's always a strategy here.
And what do you think that strategy is going into the Fatal 4-Way?
He's either trying to get opponents that are at their best to make his victories look more epic, or he's trying to completely demoralize them.
On the plan of demoralization, do you think it's possible that he wants them to meet him not as followers, but as true equals, where they don't let themselves be afraid of the dick, and they instead don't hide?
Likely.
Do you think that he has a personal favorite amongst the competitors that will be entering the arena today?
I wouldn't begin to know.
Reflex Sight, who do you believe could be the favorite amongst the competitors that Carl's truly looking to see something special out of?
Well, he's not here, but Bloodwolf.
It is the case that Bloodwolf was knocked out last night.
Really, isn't he still a part of the 4?
Carl is going to go check on the official scoreboard to reveal last night's entries.
Wait, if it's just us 3, like, going in, then we could just start, right?
Or no, we're still missing Jane Funky.
Judges are handing me the official documentation paper today.
Oh, it was J Funky. Oh.
It is the case that single-player Carl, Reflex Sight, J Funky, and Mr. McFancypants are going to be our 4 competitors in the Fatal 4-Way, where Fancy was able to take the 2-win streak in his best of 3 against Master Wolf, eking out just barely to stay ahead of his competitor. So Mr. Master Wolf will not be inside the 4-Way, but he will possibly be in the crowd giving his support to those against Carl. Maybe even for Carl. If he is able to be around, we would love to get his opinion, but he is not here with us today at this time.
Gotcha, okay, I misunderstood.
Still, bringing the question back to you, do you believe that Carl has a personal favorite out of those that are his Carl Cordians that will be facing him in the arena today?
Either me or, Fancy Pants.
What do you think it is that he wants to see out of you in the arena?
Improvement, probably. Be more aggressive.
And it is the case that you have been learning on your right-click characters. We've been seeing a lot of Razi out of you inside of these preliminary trials, and we did see some gameplay from you that focused on left-clicking and right-clicking yesterday. Is it the case that you happen to have a backline character that you're going to be pulling out today in the tournament?
Whatever I feel like it.
Whatever. Our competitors staying tight-lipped. It might be a smart strategy. Carl might not care, but it is the case that the other competitors might use this information against you.
Yeah.
And Mr. McFancypants, do you happen to have any special technology you feel like you might be bringing out today, specifically for Carl?
May have one, maybe surprise choice? Maybe?
All right.
Not really sure, because I haven't fully tried it, but, like, I was interested in the build and such a while ago, so I was, like, willing to go through with it.
All right. Well, with 42 minutes still standing on the clock for our other competitor to reach the arena, it is the case that we will be seeing some real bloodshed here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And as it is the case, always remember that if you like seeing content of this kind and wish to support the competitor Carl as well as the announcer Carl, because this job does not come free, please consider giving humble donations and contributions to Single Player Carl on all platforms where Carl and Carl-related accessories can be found and sold. That means that you can find us here on YouTube, Kick, Twitch, TikTok, as well as under the handle Caramel Cajun on Twitter. It is the case that Single Player Carl is not schizophrenic, but as we do not have another announcer, we do have to use that crazy Cajun energy to create a split consciousness just so that I could be here with us. I'm getting words from the subconscious here. Help us, please. This nigga is psychotic. Let us out. Please, this nigga is evil, let us out. Well, it is the case that this competitor has no idea what the fuck that happens to mean. So, let's continue with the interview with our subjects here. Now, in the speculations that you might have for any future competition, do you believe that anything that you're doing here may be setting a trend in the future when others choose to come into the second triennial tournament of the Running of the Hands? The competitors are in shock, people.
I was paying attention to what you said.
Well, it is the case that as this is the first inaugural running of the hands, that in Hunger Games fashion, could there be twists and turns that will appear in the future for future campaigns when you all choose to venture into the arena of Eternal Return?
Oh, possibly?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's just how improvement works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the more you play the game, the more you're going to improve, the more you're likely to just get better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in the future, should you choose to compete again, do you think that there is a particular overvailing strategy that might be useful to you, should you want to be able to take Carl down a peg, something that he wouldn't see coming?
Well, if I say it, then you would see it coming.
It is the case that single-player Carl is a cocky man, and it could be the case that he might hear it and not even care. But if you wish to keep it to yourself, that is something you might as well keep to yourself. Looking out at the cloud, Carl, I love the acting chops, but all this can be said in one sentence. Easy money! Well, it is the case that announcer Carl chooses not to have the kind of mind state that competitor Carl has. You see, it is very important to remember that even though he might be a splendiferous man, he of high fade is somebody who certainly has thousands of tricks up his sleeve. Having to deal with retards all day on the internet, all day, every day, almost as a babysitter. He's reached this form of Zen mastery over the kinds of retardation that can challenge even the stupidest person on this side of Green Reddit. Speaking of Green Reddit, we have to understand that it is the concern of the host that we've been seeing reports that Joshua Moon has been having himself a breakdown on that website. Multiple people coming out of the woodworks to say that he is currently in a relationship with a female Foyd and has been living off of Pragmata Cope ever since the game itself has come out. Jim chose to go live himself last night in his own broadcast and had opinions about it, and there's been an entire spurg fit as people have been crashing out, literally over an anime small android girl. Competitors, do you happen to have any opinion of the recent drama going out there in the world concerning Pragmata?
It's gay and lame, and it's like the most surface level reason.
Make fancy pants?
I've literally been more excited in a controller than I have been in most games for a recent year, so I really don't give a shit.
I see. Back to you, Reflex. You had more to say?
Oh, it's just like it's his surface level as a reason why a guy would like it, because it simulates the love of like wanting to be a father. Like it's just all it is. I think it's just more so women are just jealous, so they're trying to cope with any reason to shit on men.
We've seen that single-player Carl has made both not one, but two videos choosing to demonstrate the original spurg accusations that were being made against people, and then followed up with his own comments and posts. Inside of the commentary, he seemed to have spliced in pieces of his December 6th of 8 versus Irrelevant, who claimed that gaming has not been ruined by women and feminism. Could you believe that is the case that single-player Carl is saying that it is the case of women and feminism?
I mean, one would assume based on the argumentation.
And Megan, go ahead.
Oh, it's just like it's like I wouldn't like go as far as to say, oh, women ruined it, but I would go as far as to say is that personal biasy and jealousy, like, is what's causing like gaming to like. It's basically resentment of like the establishment is like ruining gaming. If anything, it's just that women are at the helm right now of pushing that narrative of gamers are sexist and this, that, and the other. Like, it's a fucking meme at this point.
And Megalag, do you happen to have an opinion of your own?
Yeah, I think it's just a video game, and Pragmata, while cool and interesting, is not that deep.
Agreed.
Now, Megalag, you happen to be special here, as you are a person that is both a Carl and Dev Cordian. Did you happen to look into any opinions that have been heard or spoken by the Fat Man himself?
I've not seen him in symposiums speaking about Pragmata.
Yes, it would be the case
So
that
it wouldn't surprise me if I could find that by simply scrolling.
Yes, it is the case that the Fat Man has been obsessed with Turtle WoW, as it is going to be shutting down within the span of the next pearlescent month. Multiple people inside of Deathcourt, including he of High Fade, have chosen to join him, but it was the word from, yes, I'm getting it right now, from the words of a competitor, Carl. I told this nigga, do anything else! Just deal with your dramas! And he wants to play a fucking game! Yes, it is the opinion that single-player Carl thinks that while it is dumb, it is something that apparently brings joy. That is right, joy to the Fat Man, and he is willing to put his problems aside, both his and Madrybrit's criticism of the fact that he has not yet gotten responses on his DMs, to satisfy the man's love of his nostalgic past. Now, do you believe that it is of smart opinion that Short Fat Otaku should be, in fact, ignoring his current pearlescent dramas, namely the never-ending procession on the internet, where he seems to be antagonized for everybody for literally having offense posts so far up his ass that he could be called Vlad the Fat Impaler?
I don't think it's wise, but then again, is procrastination ever wise?
That's their true words have never been spoken. Now, on the subject matter of recent preliminary dramas, do you happen to have any opinions of any of the particular intellectual pursuits of single-player Carl? Any of the things that he's put out within the last month that you may have noticed, if you've noticed at all?
Honestly, this is the first actual break I've taken from writing essays. I am in grad school, so...
Yes, it is the case. Amongst many of the chuds, you are one of the few that, despite his physical disabilities, continues to reach for higher education, while these people continue to reach for the next can of Mountain Dew.
So in short, I've barely been watching any content. I mean, I'll put in a Turkey Tom video in the background, but that's because it's YouTube drama slop.
Now, it is our understanding that recently made friend of the channel in the fight against he of the Short Fade, also known as Anthony Edward West, the Birdman 15. Do you happen to have any opinions on the recent drama involving the complete exposure by Canoflex of Otterly Noah attempting to antagonize poor content creators on the internet over false copyright strikes?
Cringe. Dumb and really unethical.
Do the competitors have any opinions of that content in ratio?
Sorry, I'm gonna fucking add J Funky to get the hell in here.
I see. Nice to meet Fancy Pants. Do you have any opinion of the Otterly Noah situation?
No, I am not nearly as aware.
I see.
Oh, that guy. I had a couple of his videos recommended to me for some reason, and I have never watched a single video of his, so I'm like confused as to why. That guy is weird.
It is the understanding of commentator Carl that Otterly Noah is one of those many left-wing essay bros who choose to make commentary about people and effectively is what they call a safety watcher. People watch his content about other people considered problematic so that they can avoid the icky, disgusting feeling of being able to give people views on their content in order to actually understand their opinion, also known as siphoning views. And it is the exposure of recent drama that Otterly Noah struck content creator Calesto because of his criticism of Otterly Noah's position. Otterly Noah told his thumbnail creator that the person made a video using altered fan art of his creation, claiming that by using thumbnail art that was created by this person, they were infringing on the copyright design of his user, and thus by striking the video, he could claim that they were taking it down because of the art, when really he just didn't like the opinion and the content that he was being criticized in. This then reached the ears of he of the Shadow Man, and then once the entire frame of EFAP as a business corporate establishment and creators were brought together, it was not long before the accusations began to fly. Anthony Gramuccia chose to get in on this, having a discussion and debate against Kinoflex, and Kinoflex made the argument and the case to Anthony Gramuccia, but as one of those many commentary safety watchers, AG did not want to see what was being said, but after it was brought to the case of EFAP, every frame of pause, just as they did with every situation brought forward with them, excluding dramas involving regulars and detestables that we've seen on the channel, including that of those such as everyone's favorite non-Jew loving member of the left wing, that is to say Hassan Piker. It became immediately clear to the creator, and AG chose to back down. We also saw Anthony West choose to give a DM to Otterly Noah only then, hours after the second live stream had hit on the timeline, inviting the who's who of the commentary community to pay attention to it, that actually he was going to disassociate himself entirely from Otterly Noah. Basically, it is a complete breakdown of that man's infrastructure, losing multiple points of access and multiple points of social proof, all because he, as Carl is saying, was a bitch-ass nigga! Yes, that is right, bitch-ass nigga. Lots of drama. He has invited this in to speak to Kinoflex on the matter, but it is the case that the mother Carl will be returning to the home on Monday, as she did get through and succeed in her surgery for her knee and hip replacement. They had to reassemble the bone in a couple of places before they could actually work on the knee. But all is well inside the house of Cajun Spice. He has to plan around those events. Now we go to the audience for a couple of question answerings. Does the tournament start in 30 minutes? Yes, it is the case that the commentator Carl does explain that we are currently filibustering to find time for the other competitor for the Fatal 4-Way to come to the arena so that we may begin the night's procession. Going up a little bit further in the chat room, does single-player Carl condone the mods on Pragmata? Now, it is going to be the opinion of the creator that single-player Carl has a very simple opinion. We'll go to competitor Carl to give his opinion on the side quickly. Now, competitor Carl, you are the most learned on this subject matter. Yes, indeed, that's right. Can you please be able to tell us what they mean by those mods? Well, you see, as I explained this shit on my content, there are 4 groups. You've got the progressives, you've got the pastel flags and watermelon chewers. That is the people who love political content on Israel-Palestine, and also transgenders. You've got the regular niggas, the normal commoners, and then over here in the corner, because my pinky can only go so far, you've got a bunch of crusty, dusty, nasty Shuttercon and Lolicon lovers that we're going to shorthand call just the lolly lovers. Group 1 and Group 2 have chosen to castigate and claim that Group 3 is as disgusting and dirty and bad as Group 4. Thus, as the competitors chose to say, come up with some spurg shit that doesn't exist, hasn't happened, and isn't a factor because they don't want to admit that it's just, at best, a mid-game that does for the men what Resident Evil Requiem did for the women. As people are saying amongst the Capcom games that Resident Evil 9 is a mother simulator, Resident Evil 8 was a former father simulator taken over by Pragmata that has now become a single dad simulator, and the entire antics of Devil May Cry being explained as the uncle simulator, and over across the pond from Platinum Games as a throwaway, Bayonetta described as a cool wine-aunt simulator. So, when they say those mods, there are several mods that have been pushed for by Lolicons, and then also just general mods on famous site Nexus Mods and other mod sites like them that have different levels of skins, alts, and fashions, both for Hugh himself and for Diana. I cannot speak to what Lolicon lovers do, because I am not a lolly lover. I do not believe in the whoa, but because it's my job to know, I know that there are some nasty ass niggas that back in February originally crashed the site by doing their shitposts to basically make the leftists spurred. Those leftists then claimed that the people in Group 3, the normal, regular people who are playing on PC and playing on console, would be the people who would want these skins. They are disgusting, and it is what it is at the end of the day. People want to play with mods because they want to put skins on the characters. Diane is an android, so attempting to say things like they want mods to make her look more like a child, or mods to make her look even more like a feminine body on the child, like on the body of a child. All of these things, it's a bunch of shit that just was made up in the mind of the progressives. We've seen posts, and even on the secondary video, I explained about from the position of those leftists, as well as the rightists. Because you got people like the Mary co-host with Tim Pool claiming that the only thing that a guy could want to do with this game and could ever feel is some weird tangential desire to be a parent, because literally no man can feel familial bonds to somebody that isn't their own blood child. But then on the other side, you've got people like Ukrainian Anna, that is the blue-haired one, the orbiter around Destiny, who happens to also live in Ukraine, who made a name for herself being platformed by Destiny, make up a post where she sees any interest into that whole cosplaying aspect to basically just be cringe, weird chudisms. And it's just a bunch of fucking noise that ultimately signifies all sound and wind meaning nothing. It's just like listening to a video from someone like FD Signifier himself. I prefer to shout out the one that I made some months back, which is Flies in the Ointment. When you've got people that make an entire name for themselves off of trying to tell you about the viewpoints of other people on the other side of the pond, the problem that you end up getting here is that they say a lot of things that end up telling you about their own mind state. Now, I'm not assuming, and I'm not assuaging that these people are themselves pedophiles, but on this new connection of information that's coming out of Kiwi Farms, it is the case that a bunch of those people are. They have a bunch of their mods that are having long-time posters on the website that have been there before COVID, breaking down exactly how cope this anger from Joshua Moon himself has been about the game. And in my opinion, as a former member of the farms, especially during the time when they were not just green Reddit, the problem here is a little bit of projection, but a lot of seething. Like, a lot of seething. I agree with the opinion of Reflex and Megalag that it is some gay bullshit, but if you want to really dig down on this issue, you've got a bunch of problems that are going on, alright? For one, they see this as a sellout moment. This is particular opinion that comes from Joshua Moon. He's angry that Capcom would choose to do business with somebody like that of Susie or Sophie Hunter, aka Spear Hunter, formerly a transgender porn star, now turned into Capcom shill, up there with the best of Kenny Omega and Maximilian Dude. And really, I gotta tell you, there's nothing there. I see what they say. Even though I do not like it being a part of my lexicon, I am aware of the effect of the True and Shine. And the fact of the matter is that there's nothing about it that has anything less or more to do with them trying to pander to debauchery or sin any more than they could to fatherhood. Capcom made a game. People like the game on that appeal. It's the same drama and the same level of interest that we saw with Slay the Spire 2 versus Marathon that we saw with Relooted, High Guard, and several other lefty slop, quote, True and Shine and AAA slop coming down the pipeline with the release of that game. It's something that we saw with the release of several other titles such as Sol Sesto and the Eugenics competing against other things in their field. Ultimately, people just like a good game. But I believe, and to answer the criticism from Commentary Carl, it is just the same opinion that I dealt with on that stage on the 6th of December on Wiki TV. The problem is that their entire worldview requires them to have a target. They need someone to say they are better than and to say that they are above. The leftists think they're smarter than everybody in the world and that they've got all the shit figured out. The rightists believe that the only way forward is that you need to have cut levels of right-wing conservatism that allows for the Christian nationalists to just seep in and let the Nick Fuentes types take over and just completely corrupt the message from inside, while also making a lot of money off the Manosphere and Red Pill content. But really, what's really happening here is very simple. You've got spurgs on the internet that are basically brain broken. You've got leftists on the internet that are completely demoralized and do not believe there's anything good about men in general, and it's the return of some 2016-style Church of Women worsting. Women have it worst. Our stories are best needing to be seen. There's nothing that you can learn from these kinds of male-centered stories. Any person who looks into this is just pandering to boys to give them the ability to pretend to be dads. And my problem that I have with this here is, where was that argument for any of the other video games within the last 10 years? Where's that energy for The Last of Us? Where's that energy for Dad of Boy and Dad of Boy Ragnarok? Where was that energy with any of the escort missions? Where was that energy with any of the same familial sister, brother, husband-wife familial bonds between characters within stories like that of Heavy Rain, within that of The Last of Us, within that of normal content that could have been, say, the relationship between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, even Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin? Why is it that when it's men to men, when it's a father to a son, they have no words, and now when it's a father to a daughter, they have all these words?
I can answer that. So reason for like Last of Us being okay is because it's like seen under the progressive eye, despite the progressives hating Neil Druckmann, not because he's a weirdo creep and disgusting human being, but because he's somehow a Zionist because he's Jewish. It's the fact that they make it very clear that Ellie is a girl, and then the fact that Ellie is a lesbian and having a wife and all this other stuff that is completely okay in the second game, and that they justified killing like the actual fan favorite character because I'm gonna be honest, no one gave a shit about Ellie in the first game. By all means, no one cared. Everyone liked Joel. Anytime you talk about Last of Us, it's always Joel. Ellie never made it into the picture. Why they care about Pragmatic, fuck, you know that game. Anyways, the reason why they care so much is because it's a positive relationship. They hate that it's not some grim, dark element of a story of that he has to give up the girl and all this, that, and the other, and that they argue, or that they don't just constantly argue because fuck dads, am I right, boys, or am I right, boys? Don't answer that. They hate that it's a positive relationship because they never had that in their own childhood, and they're jealous, and they hate it, and they want it destroyed. So they'll find any stupid retard excuse to say that, if you like it, you love lolly, CP, and all this other stuff, when that's never been the case. It's the same reason why people like Bioshock 1 and 2. They love the moments when like a scared girl comes up to you, looks up to you as like a father figure. Hell, that's even the true ending to the first game, where you, and the second game, where you take the remaining girls that you had saved and raise them despite being a clone. That's what happens. That's the good ending.
Now, do you happen to have an opinion about how the right wing has now gotten into being just as downer? Wouldn't this be something that they would love? Why are they now shitting on the alleged feeling that men are supposed to be getting in on? Wouldn't it be their opinion that they should instead be taking advantage of this and saying, yes, guys, this is what the left stole from you, and balkanizing them to their side?
Well, most of these hard right-leaning accounts just hate anime as a whole, so they see it as just the next anime slop. I've seen a video talking about like don't let free reign, like a right-leaning guy say don't let free reign corrupt you or whatever, convince you. Like, okay, this is the reason why you lose the culture war. The reason why anime got so popular with the leftists in the first place in the early 2000s. Because you constantly said that it was demonic bullshit. They're just dumb. This is just all it is. They're dumb.
I see. Megalad, you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, they're really dumb. A lot of them are religious, and they have a very poor basis for any religious doctrine in any level. And it's no secret that the vast majority of them are evangelical Baptists and fundamentalists who, frankly, have never been the smartest group of religious people. If I had to put them on a tier list, they'd be an F tier for intelligence, like other religions that I'm not supposed to mention.
I wouldn't generalize it like that. If anything, a lot of them are non-denomination based. But they use it as like basically the phrase "my faith is my shield" or "my faith is my sword" as like a general term, so they don't declare what they are. And it's just a LARP is what it is. It's not even like Southern Baptist. It's just a LARP.
So it's your opinion that these people are LARPing then?
They're LARPing being truly religious, and they're using it as a way for them to gain that culture like side of things, that anything made from Christians is better than anything made from what's the God damn it, Protestants. Anything made from Protestants or non-believers. Even though that there are quite a few Christian Japanese people working around the world, and or just Christians in general that don't put their faith in their media that they make. It's kind of simple.
So they're using it as a form of culture jamming, similar to how leftists use culture jamming to dominate for nearly 8 to 10 years unopposed?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. It's just that the right finally like had a taste of what it's like when it's not, like when they aren't the ones in control.
Megalak, do you happen to agree with his opinion?
On some level, yes. I believe our opinions kind of come down to, if you're faking it and you're not truly that much of a believer in any sort of religion, then you're gonna LARP the dark. You're gonna LARP, and you're not going to have any actual good doctrine in any way, shape, or form. That's just like these essay tubers who, in my opinion, are LARPing as somebody who's good at research. They're not, and they have pretty poor research doctrine around 80% of the time.
Would you say that this is the reason that the statements that they want to endlessly critique power instead of actually do something to actually manage power has broken the heads and the hearts of the left wing just as much as the doctrines that they want to be debaucherous pieces of filth would break the people that are amongst what they call the degen right, amongst the deserving? Examples being that of Elijah Schaefer's cheating with the woman known as Sarah Stock, who had presented herself as a virginal member of the media circle, saying all the right things and allegedly doing all the right things on major platforms, only for it to be revealed that Elijah was deep inside of her Hoover and that she was not as faithful and as wholesome as she appeared to be?
It's the concept of something that is referenced very explicitly within the Bible, and that is, near the times of the Last Supper, and often in some of the Pauline epistles, is that there are people who will claim to be believers, who will present themselves as doing all the right things, but are really just wolves in sheep's clothing. And what you're seeing now with a lot of Christian nationalists especially is that exact concept. It's honestly just a continuation of clout culture, and this is just one way that these individuals find themselves building clout. It's surprisingly similar to, say, the raids on the Church of Scientology, those speed runs going around right now, where it is you're only doing it because you want some clout from it. And that is what we're seeing with a lot of religious types on the internet right now who aren't actually that religious.
Would you say that the majority of people can basically claim that everyone in some level of way is allegedly grifting? We've seen that word get abused a lot by people who just want to say, this person is saying things that I can't defend, so I'm going to accuse them of being dishonest because it's going to help me better. We've seen that from the likes of Anthony Edward West, basically accusing member of the channel and friend of the channel KinoFlex, as well as single player Carl and friend of the channel Jay Longbone, that allegedly these are two nappy-headed niggas and a white guy that are just choosing to say that to someone such as the Birdman 15, they can't handle when they expose their, quote, grift. That exposing the grift and that media grifters themselves are just the same thing to any other huckster, and that by exposing them, by showing how they make their money, that they are allegedly doing something for the benefit of all people. Similar to the protector accounts like Anthony Gramuccia. Because allegedly if they don't give attention and if they don't give any platform to these accounts, they'll wither and die over time because the populace will move on from their spectacle. Because they allege that they have nothing to teach them, nothing to show them, and nothing to entertain them with.
Well, I don't think some random individual on the street is grifting. Unlike, say, we're going to name the supposedly existent Greek philosopher Diogenes, and his specific view of people faking how they are 90% of the time, I'm paraphrasing here, and not showing their true emotions. I think most people are fairly honest. To the point where I think there are very few grifters that actually are out there.
I want to inject real quick. Carl, should we just get on with the tournament? Because I don't think he's going to get here.
It is the case that I have told him, and the words verbatim are, wait, I thought I was eliminated, ho, I didn't know I was supposed to play again today, fuck, I can't make it, shit, sorry mate. He had 8 minutes to go, but it is the case that if he believes that, then he will be eliminated from the four-way, and it is now going immediately into the menage a trois.
I would just take his word for it right now and just say do it.
That was the case for commentator Carl communicating with He of High Fade. He had 8 minutes to go, but we now have 8 minutes to finish this conversation before we get on with the festivities.
Sure. Okay, fair enough. Sorry, I didn't mean to interject. Lag. I just wanted to say that.
No, it's perfectly fine. But I genuinely view most people are actually quite honest. And that the internet, as much as it shows dishonest people, especially on Twitter, that most people in reality are fairly honest and aren't really grifting about most things.
So would you say that when somebody claimed that single-player Carl, quote, as a black man, why is he even pressed about somebody like KinoFlex? He's just a clone of Doxoflex, referring to a drama that was following around KinoFlex that has now been since resolved. They're basically accusing somebody who is an honest man of being a grifter because it's just an easy way to dismiss people?
Oh, it's a lot easier to dismiss people calling them a liar than it is to argue with their, points.
And you would say that this is what many people would claim is the reason why Gamergate happened in the first place.
From what I recall, mind you, I was 12 when I was looking at that, seeing that go down, that, yeah, it was about a alleged, which I believe was true, bias in the media, and a lot of them were calling these gamers grifters for supposedly not believing that there actually was any problem, and they're trying to get popular off of it, from what I recall. So yes, I do suspect that this was a extremely dismissive sort of thing going on from a lot of these individuals who were anti-Gamergate.
So we're seeing the same thing happening again here, where now people who used to make a career of themselves talking about movies, in the case of the Birdman 15, chooses to now pivot into exposing the grift against popular media figures that just happen to not have a political bias one way or the other, or if they have a bias, they speak on it, but it does not factor into the reporting, or he chooses to attack the entire structure of Friday Night Tight individually and collectively as a business, as a group, and as a in-group connection, the same way he'll attack people such as Kinoflex, popularly being covered by Single Player Carl on his channel, where he explained that there's nothing for him to complain about, and he said, quote, "If these people can't do their job, wash these niggas." It was covered on The Opinion when Single Player Carl chose to address this on an episode of The Yappin', directly contributing to his ability to say these people don't have any real seriousness, where he offered up to a $400 pot for them to just speak on the matter and debate him live on his channel, with absolutely no control of the microphone, with a mediator being willing to step in to prevent him from doing so, that none of them took the challenge. And effectively, all of them didn't actually listen to, didn't actually watch, and didn't actually consume any of his content. They just said things about him at a distance, and then said, oh, we just block people like that and we ignore them. So it's the case that they're not actually covering anything that's being said. They're just assuming that they have a certain opinion, and then once they've made that assumption, they no longer look into it anymore because they've, quote, seen and heard everything they have to.
It would be like, say, a Marxist reading... I'm thinking of a historian here. Okay, I have the name. It's this former Marxist historian named Genoves. And I know a decent chunk of historians on the internet that are supposedly Marxist that don't read his work because he turned away from Marx. And then they have the audacity to claim he said X, Y, and Z, when I know for a fact that he does not believe in the lost cause mythology. Mostly because he wrote against it. It is that sort of experience that I have that a lot of people, especially in very far out ideologies, will not listen to somebody who they view as evil or breaking with their orthodoxy.
Though it is the case that they are basically a part of a never-ending orthodoxy of online leftists, we'll borrow the word of the left here, chuds, that are basically pointing fingers at other people in the middle and across the pond and saying, no, they're the bad ones. And everybody collectively has it wrong, while everybody in the middle is like, what the fuck is wrong with all of you? Why can't you just be normal people?
Right. That is essentially what's going on here.
I see.
It's easier to dismiss people as grifters and thus lying than it is to engage with people's arguments, oftentimes.
Cutting over to the audience really quick, we have a question. What does single-player Carl think is the best response to the attempt of being cancelled by a Twitter mob? I'm going to take that one over to competitor Carl. Carl, do you have an opinion about that? Well, see, the problem is that it's not a Twitter mob. It is mostly individuals who know that it's easier to make fun of and stop someone from being popular if they are relatively unknown, because there's just some basic caveats to the internet that are presumed to be true at all times that makes it really hard to actually have conversations about anything. It's like this. On the left, when they were in control of most of what we would assume is understood internet history, it's not contested, there's no debate, just factual matter of the facts. It is a fact that people like Anita Sarkeesian and the name that often goes not spoken, Jonathan McIntosh, were just using feminist frequency as a career grift. It is the case that Ken Belair, David Bedard, and the other secret benefactor behind Sucre Baby and Sweet Baby Incorporated and every other type of business that is in the world of script doctoring and giving, quote, notes on video game writing, or just novel writers that have decided to break into the game industry, and whenever there is a big hit that can be attributed to their business, they claim DEI is something that you should do. DEI meaning diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives to make the gaming space better. these kinds of caveats are also presumed inside of social gaming culture. And in the general sphere of the internet, that social culture has a lot to say about how people ought to behave on the internet and move on the internet. Many of these people usually being some caveat of left wing. Now, back then, at that time, the culture jamming was at an all-time high, alright? A lot of those people in those mobs canceling people, they didn't actually believe the person did something wrong. It wasn't about, did they fail to do something? Did they backstab someone? Look over at the situation with Sukuna right now. A bunch of women basically watched themselves get involved into a story very similar to the Turkey Tom allegations of, this man is grooming me, this man used me, this man raped me, this man used his giant engine of clout to take advantage of me. And what did we learn? We learned that Kuno, for all of his interests, is basically a Deku voice having fuckboy. He didn't manipulate these women. He had a Rasta. And every single bitch on our Rasta didn't like that there was another girl on the list. So, one girl in particular got together with an already questionable essay dropper and dropped a simultaneous video and allegation at the same time along with her Google Docky. And the Google Docky was really just her backup plan. Her first plan was that, as it was revealed multiple times on multiple pieces of content on multiple people's channels and was covered, but only covered briefly in summary live on Carl's Yappin', that they just wanted to get with the guy. They wanted Sukuna to drop his girlfriend and get with her. And when that didn't happen, and she didn't use that back pocket linchpin to be able to take another woman off her spot, she said, oh, I was abused. I didn't mean to have Nakadashi with him. He just happened to be so good inside, and he just said, where do you want me to come? And he just cream pied me. No, these girls were in a situation. They decided that they wanted access and they wanted immediate proclivity and payoff. And when it didn't work, they decided the next best thing is to destroy his platform. Because we have a culture where no woman, despite our gynocentrism, can ever be held accountable. Accountability does not exist. It never can exist, it never will exist, because the majority of these people do not understand that you just can't take them at their word. You cannot trust what women say. You need to believe what women do. In other words, when they tell you what kind of person they are, believe them. And unfortunately, it is the case that in our modern society, we still don't have the ability for people to understand that you just need to believe these women when they choose to do these levels of underhanded, unscrupulous things. They have been trained that if they cry that they have been hurt by a person, that everybody will come protect them. And why is that? It's in the case that it is just how men are. We are hardwired for protection. We are supposed to do that. It's in us. There's nothing you can do about it being in them. But at the same time that is in them, you've got another problem at the same time happening, which is that men haven't learned to tell that bitches be lying to them. Lying straight to their face. Because, hey, who's going to tell a woman that she's wrong? You can't question a woman about what's happening to her when she's been raped. You can't question a woman when she says that she's been harmed and abused. There's things that have to be understood. And you and I both know, Megalag, that on that issue, that's really where the internet is permanently stuck. We're permanently stuck in that upwards aperture. No man will be heard out until he has literally the woman on tape admitting, yeah, I was going to fuck that nigga over. Yeah, I lied about it. And ain't nobody going to believe him because they're going to believe me over you. We've seen this be a case with domestic violence. We've seen this be a case with online influencer violence. We've even had this be the point where a man has murdered a fan of his in an animated short that, as they're still looking into the assassination of this girl, they basically have him dead to rights, and everybody's like, I don't know. It's just a problem. And the problem is that until we really change the way we see the issue around such things, it's going to still be a case of how should you react and what you should do, right? So, getting to the heart of the question that you asked me, your best reaction to it is just basically laugh in their face. Because the thing that they want out of you is they want you to react in an emotional manner. They want you to act like the world is ending around you. Oh no, nigga, I didn't touch that bitch. I ain't doing anything at all. I'm innocent. No, you need to laugh in the face and be like, yeah, nigga, I guess I did it. I spat on the shit after I was done with it because it was trash. you have to basically be a maudlin and irreverent. That's the best reaction that you could possibly give. Because the people around you are going to react to the information based on your reaction. With all this drama happening, the fact of the matter is that people are only really paying attention to half of the shit that's being said and done. They care more about the interpersonal dramas and the reactions to those dramas, not the actual details. Because most of the people are not actually paying attention to the details in the first place. They're only listening to pieces of the information. It is my opinion as a creator that the majority of the people online that are watching content, they aren't actually watching content. They saw a popular creator put out a video. Other people who also may be following that person then comment on that content, and then they have a bunch of questions between themselves, and they say, hey, yo, is this real? Is this real? What's your opinion about it? And then it eventually gets back to the people in question that could talk about the material, and then they say, well, here's what I think, here's what I say. And then a bunch of people asking that creator, if they're in the communities of creators, what their opinion on that take is. And around it goes as a very long chain of telephone. Even if you were to say, create a drama where single-player Carl is outed as a pedophile, the first thing, as we've already dealt with, is, what? The ex-fed. That's the person who's supposed to be touching on kids? I don't know. I don't know that that's true. Because even in the time period around a lot of the things that you could discuss, the level of attention is kind of, it has a inverse magnetic relationship to the actual clout of the person. The word here is social proof. If I have the audience that I have, and then somebody says to you, single player Carl's a pedophile. Yes, we can, right after I'm done. When somebody says single player Carl's a pedophile, the natural reaction is going to be people that are followers of that person are going to say, is that real? Is that true? Where did you get that from? And they're going to look for some kind of information to validate the claim, right? If the claim isn't valid, they're just going to blow the person off. Because you don't have any evidence. You need evidence before you accuse somebody of something like that. The internet doesn't like evidence because they like getting the drama ball rolling immediately. The only thing that can kill that drama ball is basically taking all the wind out of the sails. Killing the joke, as it were. If somebody were to say, oh, we didn't mean that for real, it's just a joke. Similar to how Short Fat Otaku claimed that now ex-girlfriend of Cabal leader, Uzulu, allegedly groomed his ex-girlfriend in his audience. And it is the case that people don't know that that was supposedly a joke, but a joke that he's repeated. You'd have to do the same level of taking it out of the sales. Now me, I don't like the fucking die of fat cascade. So I'm killing it myself personally. And I've told people that explicitly. I can't stop Dev from being a retard, but I can basically solve this miniature problem. Because it's just lies. It's just lies and slander. That's all I gotta say there. And as we've hit the end of the time period, we have come to find out that competitor J Funky believed that he was knocked out yesterday and wasn't actually competing for his position in the Fatal 4-Way. That now means, with the elimination of this competitor, we now have a 3-way between those that are still remaining. That is single player Carl, Master McFancypants, and Reflex Sight.
God help us.
Let us take it underway as we take it over to the inside coordinator to the Eternal Return tournament. Arena Carl, you have the giveaway. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the first inaugural Fortnite Running of the Hands, coming out here live from the HOA Arena inside of Carl Gord. I am your host, commentator Arena Carl, telling you the lowdown about how this tournament is ran. This is a tournament round that will be ran by player fall. For every competitor that is currently in, there will now be not 4, but 3 rounds of competition. The points in the knockout phase no longer matter. It is kill or be killed, and boy, our competitors are looking bloody and anxious as they enter into the now trilinear arena. It will be the goal of each of the competitors in these 3 rounds to attempt to knock each other out and basically end up with more opportunities in their pocket than the other. So if it is the case that single-player Carl is able to go all 3 rounds and kill both of his competitors, that will be a point in his docket. If he is able to get to having more points over his opponents than the others, then it is the case that he will just simply win. But if it is the case somehow that when it comes to the dockets of the points, when he ends his rounds with more points than his competitors, having killed them, since they will be respawning, if it is somehow able that he has to face them into the final, whoever is not knocked out immediately will be going into a best of 3 with him, and that will decide the final placements. And if it is the case that he somehow wins, those 2 competitors will be going in to their own sudden death tournament round, where they will be possibly facing each other in the case of best of 3s. Unless, just like in the salaciousness and the drama that was started yesterday, that they will be competing against each other in a singles 1-fall. Well, I don't expect that to happen again here, ladies and gentlemen, but the expectation is palpable, and the violence is only expected to get worse. Now, competitors, as you head into the arena, are there any final words you'd like to say to the people at home before we enter into the festivities?
Let's just have fun.
Oh.
I don't know.
And you, Master Fancy Pants?
Oh, please.
And competitor Carl, waiting in the champion suite in the arena, do you have any words for your humble and loyal fans here that are entering into the HOA arena, sponsored by BBC Migraine Powder and Heat Tap? When I put together this tournament, and I said to myself, we need a way for people to learn how to appreciate their time and their acumens with each other. It was the viewpoint of this one humble man with an afro that I would do my best to bring these people entertainment and fun. And in choosing to do so, I am doing my best for all of them to have put this tournament together. I have seen them grow. I have seen them change. I have seen them run hands with each other and myself. And I can say that I am no more so proud than all of them, but none so more proud than the ones that were there from the start. When we started this, we were just simply coming off the dregs of having lost a very important community member and personal friend to me. And I had to ask myself, how am I going to lead these people way forward? And really, it's occurred to me, these people don't really know each other. So I provided them a way to get to know each other. And in my love of competition, I brought to them Eternal Return, and they brought to me hours and hours of entertainment. They demonstrated heart, will, and circumstance, and even in their stubbornness, where they still have a rough around the edge terms, I can say that I am proud of each and every single one of these competitors, and I am proud of the community that we have built here. It is only through all of you that I am capable and possible of bringing you what I am able to bring you and entertain you with and for. I am filled in my heart with both competition and joy, and ultimately I want you all to do nothing else when you leave and to have fun. To my competitors, may the pawns reach the end of despair, because I will be coming for you. I will see you in the streets, not as your leader, not as your creator, not as the content creator, but as an opponent. And I expect you to give me these hands just like I would give you these hands. So, without further ado, I throw it back to the competitor, and I throw it back to you, Arena Carl. Thank God Almighty, free at last, free at last. What a man, what a speech. Truly, we can say that nigga is not full of himself, but lube is the only thing we have to offer here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as they begin to enter the arena, without the exception of Carl himself, we are simply going to have to remain with him at this time, since, as we are a split personality, he has to have the ability to speak. But those inside of the viewing booth will now be sent to their own competitor arenas as they are going into the three-way for the tournament to proceed. Those of you at home, show your pride for your favorite member, and let's get this tournament underway! Ladies and gentlemen, as we enter into the arena on competition day 1, we have clear and windless conditions as the competitors lock in their choices and start with their strategies. We have no idea what they have in their store, but as we reach the countdown to final lock-in, you can be able to find your fuels and refreshments at your local convenience store and or fridge found directly in your kitchens. Please feel free to take your battle breaks and to get your entertainment now, as we have 15 seconds before final lock-in on round 1 in the tournament. Now, as you understand, we are titled for a kill fall point. Every kill on the competitors as they compete in the arena will equal a point. No placement value for who starts with what. They need to have more points leading into the final as we then get to the final third round. If it is the case that we have competitors that are equal in numbers and we do not have a clear number 1, it will be the case that if Carl loses, they will be the ones that claim that $20 prize. And if it is the case that Carl wins, the final bottom 2 competitors will be facing each other in sudden death for the card. Leading into round 1, single player Carl piloting Sula, Reflex Sight piloting Fenrir, and Master McFancypants out of the distance with another dramatic unseen play piloting Mai. As the competitors enter the arena, nobody has any idea what is in store. Let's see what happens as we go down to Carl's vision. Carl, how you feeling? I got the jitters, man. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect this out of McFancypants. He's really showing me his real character today. Entering into the arena, I can see that they're already dealing and squealing off against each other before they send us to the island. Lord knows what the fuck is in store for me here. And down into the arena that they go, immediately off on day 1 with only 2 minutes before the next optimal change. Carl immediately heading out of the gate and getting his build done. Just basic standard play from the man. Can you expect anything less than consistency? Having found all the pieces he needs, he's heading over into beach already. And immediately on to those chickens. He needs those chickens to give him a leather so he can get his build on way. He finds his leather, and he immediately begins crafting, pushing himself out the gate to his next position. Already rounding the curb. He hits level 3. He hits level 4. He buys his additional extra piece. Sitting on number 4, but still short a couple of pieces, he hits his remaining containers, and he does find his build, so him to finish into his purples. He hits level 5, and ladies and gentlemen, here he is, off on his own, ready to go find blood in the cathedral. Immediately onto those animals, he is immediately crafting the amount of food that he believes to have. This time only going for the 1 blue. It looks like he is expecting to knock these people out immediately. He is out and on the hunt. Crossing through the map using double mirrors as a shield. Taking all of the push that he can to cover as much distance to try and find those notifiers. Already pushing and digging into the center of the map. Oh, he is entering chapel just before nighttime. And as we recall for the people at home in the tournament, as we understand, it is possible for him to give shoutouts and that the competitors could be listening. I want the bitch to try. Please, try to fuck me by knowing where I am, because I have to host and commentate at the same damn time. Into cemetery, crossing through the wolves. Immediately taking the wolves down, and now he will possibly take the opportunity to grab the fire. He's rounding the curb around Research Center, crossing in to come grab that refuge. And we get the 1 minute timer, where we now see that he has positioned himself between at least 3 locations for their special items. It's anyone's game on whether or not he's going to commit to a particular side, but it's already getting spicy, and there hasn't even been any bloodshed yet. 25 seconds left before the countdown. Carl's claiming up as many animals as he can. And we get our first ping of danger inside a forest.
A dimensional rift will form ahead.
Still getting pings around forest as we end into the day, and our doors are open. All doors into the combat lab have just been opened, and meteorites and Tree of Lives are spawning and touching down. Carl immediately going for the play. Oh, he is taking a doubleheader. He is taking the Tree of Life from Cemetery and immediately locking in to the Danger Dome. 5 seconds into the combat lab. And it's a free lab, ladies and gentlemen. No competition inside that room today, but Carl will be walking away with the doubleheader into his item transitions. Out of the door and into the fire, he is dropping in the zone, ready to take his next placement and look for his next opportunity. And immediately down into Uptown, picking up the meteorite and walking away, stock 3, with 3 transition pieces in his pocket. And it looks like he's not going to go for the Force Core. He's instead going to take the full 3, and on his way out of the door, popularize those chickens. Going to mess up on the book slam, but doesn't matter, still completes it. Farming out through and just simply walking out until he is ready for his next position. Now hiding in a brush, taking his guaranteed camera, and now crafting up a storm. In comes the elegant gown. In comes the magic stick. In comes the use of boots. He's holding his last transfer. He's making his way down. Claiming a bunch of extras as he walks through. He's got a few seconds before that door opens. It's the case that Carl's going for it.
Watch out for his sweep attacks. Alpha's over there.
He exits through and into another combat lab. See, those combat labs providing him safety, he finishes his craft and gets online to his next piece and sets himself for the opportunity for yet another transition piece. Out in the field, reflex sight taking the opportunity, getting spotted by division on the cameras. Carl's starting to hunt once he's now on his main line, as he only has just a couple of auxiliary pieces before he truly gets started with his violence. Taking the pieces and the free upgrade, it is the case that he's going to sit on top of it, and he's going to lock in his nightmare nails. And with that, he is on the hunt.
I don't think I'll ever get used to this thing. No. Is anybody home?
Immediately out of the lab, onto the farmers and bears. This man is an enemy to all things in nature. Getting shorted on the gap of the wall, missing his first E. He's going to immediately get onto the wolves and slam them, giving him a little taste of that fairy girl power. And still searching the streets, looking for his opponents. Into day 3, we see Forest open back up with a choice of 3 of life, but it doesn't seem that Carl is interested. No, Carl's collecting himself some vision equipment to be able to control the area around the objects as he makes his way through Forest with a straight line straight to Research Temple. He locks down the majority of the area's animals, making his way down. We see a Slade Alpha Slave for the Mai out in the distance. He does take the Tree of Life, and he will take control of cameras as he leaves the area, but probably not without taking the dogs. Yep, he moves towards the dogs. Ooh, a little bit of fat fingering. He ends up missing the use. on his ability on the way out of the door, having to melee them down for time. And out he goes. Picking up his last transition piece, the man is all fully built as we're heading into the last 15 seconds before the night of day 3, and he is now in control of the center of the map. This is going to give Carl a lot of opportunity where he's going to be able to control these people without having actually seen them. He has been keeping track of their movement, and he is just now waiting for his catalyst to come in. And he's getting money.
Let's go. Omega has been spotted.
And he's moving on to his first ping. He's moving around the corner, slithering.
The thought of a library fire is just...
And he's placing his vision, taking control as he starts to walk dominantly and confidently into the combat, not even flincing or wincing around corners. And he stops off and he meets his friendly neighborhood robot. And he asks that robot, "Can I have some vision, please?" The man is a method about his object, locking down this zone and area as he's taking control of Fire Station. And it looks like he's found himself a target. Wistfully evading around the area, it looks like he's about to take his prey. Oh, Carl drops on the book, but hits the double stun. The Mai's looking pretty cooked here. And with the first kill on the board, Carl locks down the Mai with only seconds before the end of day 3. That's going to cost him. Without having those opportunities to milk those points, he's not going to be able to do it. But day 4 has come, and that means control over the center. And now the side taking control of the cameras comes Reflex Sight, pushing through, but unfortunately, the push connects only to the Wolf. Reflex trying to push for full control, taking the dominant force. Carl taking poke pin, both are hurt. Re-engages on the push, dodging back through on the side. Carl with the step back and immediately executing Exo Crusher. What a combo! No fear from the push out of him. He continued to push his threat and continue to re-engage the fight as he attempts to push back. But is that going to cost him on the push? Reflex might be out of round 1 with Fancy only remaining to get points on the board, but that's going to cost Carl time on his transition. With only 24 seconds before the night, he's going to be off tempo trying to head into this Wicker. Is he going to be able to convert? Carl immediately heading to the kiosk, trying to cash in that blood. He's going to be slightly off mark as he's trying to get it, but he does not have the inventory. He's coming around the corner.
Look at all of the trees here.
He finishes the craft and begins tracking Lick.
Only one team left until victory.
Action.
Carl pushing straight through Forest and unfortunately going to get spotted on the hostile camera as he's making his way downtown into Uptown. Walking fast, but Chase is trashing with a homebound. Mai cutting him off on the corridor way. Mai unfortunately getting clipped by the double hit and attempting to walk the other way, but unfortunately stuck by Don Quixote. Carl is making sure to lay the damage on thick and is milking for the opportunity to do the knockup, but Mai is not giving him the wall. Unfortunately, she does give him the corner stun, which is going to give him the ability to hit the double combo. And walking around in a circle, he goes down. Carl ending round 1 strong with 3 kills in his pocket.
My heart is always pounding when I get to the last page.
And in the ending of round 1, taking his 3-point victory in, we now cut back to the competitors to see what went wrong and what went right. competitors coming straight out of the arena from round 1, what do you feel could be the prevailing strategy you might need to be able to get back on the ups with Carl taking 3 points in to his calculations?
So maybe not running into Sue with a tank build was the best idea.
I just took a little too much damage, like in that engagement. I should have backed off, regen, and then come back.
Now, Reflex, in your spout with Carl, you had him on the ropes, choosing to take the re-engage to the fight with the tail whip hook. Was it the case that you were going to try to pull out the kill so that you could eliminate him on day 4, rather than possibly either knocking or being knocked out on the night of day 3, thus preventing him the chance to be able to come back through and respawn at the timer before time ran out?
Best to get rid of you before, before Fancy or I get eliminated first. I don't know.
It's the opinion.
That didn't really work out.
It's the opinion from the crowd from Jose Owepakukukuku that Carl should have delayed his death until day 4 if they had a critique. If Carl had knocked him out any slower, he could have not only been able to guarantee more points for himself, but also providing less opportunity for the opponent to possibly get points of their own, as those extra lives and extra deaths will add up, meaning that if they wanted to score higher, they need to basically farm kills. And if they wanted to have a more secure win, now that there has been a lead secured, Carl should now kill you slower to milk for opportunities, or faster to knock out the opponents before they have a chance to come back on day 4. All important day 4 with the unlock of the VF Blood, getting you guys the opportunity to your best maximal builds for your items. Do you agree with the sentiment from the member of the audience?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Still rather new to most of the game systems, so I don't really pay attention to most of things that are going on in it that I should probably, but that just means that I need to play more to practice.
Very true opinions, very true opinions. And competitor Carl, do you have any opinion about what went on in there? Well, I wanted to take a simple line. I was hoping to get points knocking them out of the combat lab, but it was the case that with an open line directly from cemetery down into chapel to take the first portal, I had the free content line on the second. I was hitting myself for not taking the noise clips to possibly knock out Reflex Sight when I noticed he wasn't fully built, but I just simply wanted to focus on having a strong, considerate start. It was smart that I took that line and chose to build up when I did, because when he met me inside of Fire Station, I almost possibly could have lost it there. He was avoiding a lot of the Don Quixote knockups. I have to give him some props. His footsies were on point. He wasn't really giving me the opportunity to walk down or walk away. And when he re-engaged, I was in between cooldowns on the illusion that I just had to figure out how to be able to muscle him and get the chance to get to double blind. I was able to find some stuns and hits and blinds and then make some distance there. I was able to knock him away eventually with the bat and then just finish the kill. I was more focused on survival than I really was on trying to create a better position. I was really hoping that I wouldn't find Master McFancy Pants around the corner, waiting for me to capitalize off that damage. Unfortunately, he wasn't. He was halfway across the map, so it was a good, clean bout. They really didn't make that many mistakes. Not really a mistake to die and try. And I was not expecting this kind of fire from Reflex Sight. None whatsoever. None at all. He really woke me up there in the beginning and made me have to fight for that point. Well said, competitors. Well said. Well, as we're tuning in and locking in for round 2, any passing words that any of the competitors would like to give to people back home or anyone here inside the arena?
Good luck, have fun.
And Master Fancy Pants, any words you'd have to say for the people back home watching?
Fuck Sua. Aside from that.
And Mr. Carl, anything you'd like to say to your competitors? If this is what you're going to give me on round 1, these niggas finna talk my teeth out in round 2, I'm going to tell you what. But I'm going to get your ass. I'm going to get your ass. Alright. All competitors back to their corners, ready to start up round 2. Just a quick, simple brief. If you would like content of this and you believe that you would like to support Carl Cord and all of Carl's expeditions into the world of fun, please consider giving humble donations and contributions to the United Negro Carl Fund, here where you can find Carl and Carl-related efforts and accessories sold here on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, and X under Caramel Cajun. And with none further ado, and with all obligations to our sponsors met, let's get it started into round 2. Locking in weather conditions with cloudy and strong winds, we're looking at the competitors making their choices. Carl seemingly pushing out of his favorites and looking for something a little bit out of the way. What possibly could he have in store for them that he's going to be using here? He's looking for a pick, but I guess he decided he couldn't find what he wanted.
Let's ride the wind.
And with 11 seconds for final lock-in, let's see what our competitors have chosen to take into the arena on the next bout. And into the processing, we've got Carl pushing in the human, Justinia coming out of Mr. Fancy Pants, and a Felix coming out of Reflex. This is a character Carl has never seen that opponent on before. 5 seconds before the fight, let's get started. Let's take it back down to Carl's corner and go to where he can see what's coming up next. Honestly, don't know what to expect out of it. I don't think I've ever seen this man pilot Phoenix. Gotta mention, I'm a little bit scared and a little bit impressed. He's really picking up those real cosmetic characters. And with Justinia coming out from Fancy, hopefully he's taking my words to heart and he's about to show me a masterclass on my own character.
We will then resume our next experiment. Let there be glory to the pawns who reach the end of the stair.
And down into the arena they go in 3, 2, 1. And out from the races, Carl immediately heading into his corner, taking his barrels. With the use of Human's start, he's not really going to have a lot of opportunity to do a lot of damage and be very lethal. He's going to need to get to those all-important cooldowns, and he's going to start making his way across for him to teleport to his next secondary build point.
Who's the real Taoist here?
In this arena, however, in this round, we're seeing a signature item coming out from Lumi, which might be useful since Carl's build heavily relies on a lot of Tree of Life.
No easy way. Oh, not bad at all.
Coming in from the Carl, we're seeing a process on him building his first 2 purples. And immediately out onto those boars, he's going to lose a little bit of damage there, having hit that across, but he's going to pick up the food and immediately start moving towards his flyer. He's cooking up a storm as he then sits on his 2 additional drone buys and hits his smooth level 5 curve. He finishes the 4th, he finishes the 5th, and already hitting on level 6. With 2 pieces left, he is now picking up his food and his storage, and he is off and looking.
What should I take with me?
He finds his 2-piece builds of his most all-important focus, and he is running with the wind up through pond. We already see vision coming out from Steam, and Charles decided he wants him some of that.
Should I recite a poem?
The cameras haven't been initiated up, and he smoothly moves up through stream to go take control of those cameras. Heading into the night of day 1, he is tracking himself a target. We've noticed some death from some nearby concessionary, and he is just following the trail where it leads. The competitor has left their vision items on the ground.
Stagnant water is the most.
And they have a standoff where Carl is looking for the opportunity. And he has Reflex on the ropes, with Reflex looking to stall for cooldowns. He does take out the camera. but it is unfortunate that he goes down in the crossfire with Carl taking his first kill. 50 seconds on the clock as he's pushing through. Carl's seeing some opportunities to get some free farm. Taking him out means that he's going to get all these chickens all to himself. Look at those chickens fall as he crosses back and pushes back against the wind, looking for an opportunity to cut back into pond from the center station. Carl taking control of the cameras from the center station pond as he then transitions back into stream. He is going to take over and push over to the pairs and probably farm them before they have a chance to start. Showing off his expertise on that human, making use of that shield so he can just tank the slam and immediately kill the boars. So the door is open. And doors are open on day 2, immediately into the combat lab. And Carl immediately calling in that Tree of Life. He's locking in and crafting in with Blood Cloak already online. Now operating his door to open for combat. And it is another free lab, easily transitioning into another core buy. Let's see what he does with it. Takes the prize, takes the level, opens the box, and teleports himself to a new location, leaving it unexposed. Just basic human things, coming out of the lab, hitting the ground and running a train on all the animals in the area. That's just the power of that shotgun, demonstrating the true expertise and mastery that someone can expect to have with human. Pushing down those bears and taking that control, he is farming up a storm trying to get his passive online as he continues to take as many vision items and pieces as possible, but is trying to vary the piece between where he is and where he's not. Crossing out through, he comes down and is pushing a center brine directly towards another transition item, ignoring the animals and ignoring bushes, as he knows they're going to come for him. They're going to come for him up close. Oh, and we've got ourselves a drop in the area. Does Carl see it coming forward? It is Master McFancypants on a push, trailing past Carl. And fortunately, Carl's just a little bit too fast to be able to secure it, but they are clearly on their line. But Carl just a little bit too fast, choosing to give him the slip, as he then takes the corner to find the chance to build.
Wind is in my favor. I feel like I've gained divine powers.
Carl gets his second piece online and is starting to move away from the corner, possibly choosing to play around it. Oh, no, it looks like he was just waiting for tickets. That's right, Carl is pushing back down through the center with Research Station and is now 50 seconds in, hunting for one McFancy. Over across the map, we're seeing an Alpha coming down with the kill from Felix, providing them the opportunity for a lot. Carl getting spotted crafting on the spot with the camera, and with no choice left, around the corner, Fancy is waiting for him. Carl pushing Fancy into the corner, taking him on the slowdown for the curb. And he takes down Fancy on the night with 20 seconds remaining in day 2. Just walking him down, pushing out the blink and forcing the rotation.
There's no one here.
Very simple, even game from single-player Carl here. But he does not leave that engagement, as he is just a little centered and hurt. Into the transition of day 3, Carl finding himself on a position where he's getting himself some free vision and camera control.
Will appear soon.
Seeing some spotting happening up at the top of police station. We're seeing Carl approach and advance from the side. It seems like he's going to take a look in the area, activating the cameras and taking down control of the vision for the spot, locking it down for at least 10 seconds. Carl rotates through the fire station, looking to find himself a kiosk. He's got a right in hand that he can't do anything with. And he needs to turn that into an item that can actually benefit him. And he finds the opportunity. And we are getting, ladies and gentlemen, as we are getting significant levels of disconnect as the midday throttle is currently happening. We're trying to get Carl reconnected to the arena, but he is getting buffering issues. And it is the case that Carl is having himself connection issues as he seems to be incapable of reconnecting to the arena as he has gotten some stagger. That is going to really hurt Carl here because it's going to invalidate his points for the round and he'll be stuck in the position having to watch what happens next. Carl forced to leave the arena and is now having to look at final retrieval of results. Carl being pushed back out for the lobby of the custom game says the game is still in effect and he needs to reconnect. Let's see if we can get him back into the competition. And he is back in.
Let's go.
What exactly am I supposed to do?
Little touch and go there, folks, but we were able to bring it back in together. Now returning in on day 4, where Carl has little to no time to be able to find himself an opportunity. And we get notice that the enemy Gamma has been taken down by Master Fancy Pants.
Fires in the city are scary, but wild
Meaning Carl is definitely behind the curve, looking for an opportunity where he can be able to capitalize on what he's got, still looking off some pieces into the fight.
is part of the natural course of life.
And around the corner comes Reflex, fully built on the push. Oh, and Carl goes down. Unfortunate Reflex knocked out on day 4 and eliminated, fresh off of trying to reconnect. Let's now go to the cameras and immediately spoke from here. Reflex now on the board with 1 kill of his own, where Carl is going to be taking home 2 points. Reflex Sight is on his first point and is walking through the area into deep downtown fire station, while on the other side of the map, Wicker Line has been taken down by Master Fancy Pants, who's taking himself the damage and the goal to be able to push out and get his next build restriction. Fancy choosing to take the VLS to fly himself over to a corner where he won't be disturbed, choosing to land over in Hospital where it seems to be a little bit safer and a little easier to put some items together, while Reflex Sight is farming up a storm and trying to come down on his own side to figure out what he's going to do next. Looking over at Fire Station, Reflex Sight is still hunting around the corridors, looking for something to do with the blood he has on his hands. He's going to start crafting now and is actually going to come in and do something with the Spirit of Long Inus, and he's going to bring himself to a Crimson to get at Strift Strides Online. Over on the other side of the map, we're locking in, and Blood Moon Half Dawn has been selected and purchased, with Fancy trying to put his gear together so he's ready to meet the opponent when it comes to it. Transfers over the money and is trying to get a lot of things tooted up. He's got an inventory full of items, and we don't know what he's going to do with them, folks. He gets to crafting and crafts himself up a pair of glacial shoes as he goes back to farming on the animals, gets a pity drop off the wolves, changes to the raven, and continues to get the drop down, hitting some very interesting questionable dash combos. He picks up the additional free item off the ground while still holding the Gala's gift from inside of the Gamma Lab and is now transferring and turning all of those tactical modules potentially into money. And he is confirming the credit push. He is buying the money. He's sitting on 700. He buys the blood. And he is trying to dial in. He is walking up, and it seems our competitor is walking to the area to find him, crossing out a stream, entering into the downside of hospital, following the traces. He seems to be taking an upper position to control the half side of hospital, while Fancy is now taking the camera's control. Now, with a Necronomicon in his inventory, he's got the armor pen and the skill amp, but starts farming the wolves the air around the corner. Reflex Sight sees him. He closes in distance. In comes the first combo. He's getting full combination and unfortunately takes down. Reflex Sight taking 2 points home, dominating both the casters in this competition, ending round 2 strong.
Nice. Let's keep this feeling going.
And with the upset with an unexpected pick, it's the Felix securing Rogue. His position a easy win with 2 kills, 1 death in the round. Let's take it to the competitors and see what they have to say. Competitors, we're seeing a lot of violence out there, a lot of blood. Reflex, can you tell us about that plan on how you were able to hunt Carl down after his disconnection issues to knock him out in round 4?
I just happened to be there, and it would have been better if we were both built with orange items, but I just had to take it because, well, that's just how it had to happen.
And we're all flabbergasted by this choice. No one has ever seen you pilot Felix, and here you're acting like it's second skin. How long were you hiding this pick?
I played him like twice on my own, and I was like, oh wow, he's like, which is weird to say when I say this, but he's like a, Zhao from a League. Hold on. You know who I'm talking about.
Xin Zhao.
Jin Zhao, thank you. Xin Zhao, he was kind of like him in a weird way, but different. The other character I was like looking at, but I don't have enough cash on hand, well, A-coins, is Istvan, so I wanted to play him as well for the tournament, but I didn't have enough A-coins on hand.
Interesting, interesting. How do you feel being able to take in 2 kills to Carl's 2 and that you were able to take down he of High Fade himself?
Are you referring to Fancy on this one?
As we do not know if Fancy Pants chooses to wear a high afro, it is the fact that the High Fade refers to single-player Carl himself. Again, how do you feel about having taken down Carl on one of his own strongest characters?
I feel like just Yumin, the one problem with him is that if you go on to him very strong with quite a bit of CC and a shield, he kind of melts.
And so the plan here was to try and find him again after that first encounter and see how Carl was feeling out that round, and then just simply give him no breathing room.
Yes, pretty much.
Well, it is the current some member of the audience that they have the opinion that Reflex Sight at the start of the round seems to hesitate, giving the ranged characters too much space to operate, but as the match went on and after Carl came back from his disconnection, learned to stop giving them breathing room and chose to put his foot down on the black man's neck.
Okay, well, I wouldn't refer to like that, but I mean, his name isn't George, so it's fine.
It is the opinion of the commentator that he has no opinion about the statement. Well, let's take it to single player Carl in his arena, in his corner, about what he has to say.
Okay, I was on call.
Carl, what's your opinion here? Well, it's like I expected and said. I expect some things out of them that I've never seen, and the fact that Reflex took the time to study on his own and came out with a choice like Felix tells me that I've been underestimating him, and I cannot do so again. Well said, Carl, well said. As the competitor, Master McFancy says that he needs to take a phone call, we're going to take a 3-minute bottle break so that the...
No, I already took a phone call. No, I'm good.
Okay, it is the case that he has already taken a phone call, but we're still going to take that 3-minute bio break so that the announcer doesn't die of asphyxiation.
All right. We're doing only 3 rounds, right?
Currently 3 rounds, yes.
Okay. Good.
As the countdown for the bio break begins, the scores currently stand single player Carl 2 points and Reflex Sight 2 points, with Fancy having none on the board. It is the case that Fancy will find himself potentially getting knocked out, with the finals coming down to whoever either has the most points or is able to end confidently and strong. Coming back into the arena, now not choking to death. Commentator Carl choosing to look over what happens when you choose to leave dragon fruit laying out on a counter. Red paste and dye color everywhere. And that's what we're expecting to see here as we log in and get ready for round 3. With 2-2 on the board in favor of both Carl and Reflex, it's going to be the case that both of them are now going to be gunning for each other neck and neck, looking for the ability to put them in their place. We enter into the arena with the next code, and now we're lining up the competitors ready to go. Any words to the competitors leading into round 3?
Good luck to everybody.
And Master McFancy Pants, any words from you?
I am thinking things, having plans. I need to try something new.
Scheming of schemes.
Not a new character, just a new idea.
Scheming of schemes.
And competitor Carl, any words from you from your opponents? I am so proud of Reflex showing me the aptitude that he has for battle like you. I'm going to make sure the next fights are going to be ones he's going to have to think real hard about. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, all competitors have said their best. We send them to their corners, and we are going into the next round. This is going to be for the whole kit and caboodle, unless somebody's able to equalize the point score. Let's get ready to murder! And on day 3, we're getting Sandstorm and Purple Fog Mutation. That's going to give a lot of opportunity for those pity drops to come in. We're looking at the competitors choosing their choices, and we are waiting until final countdown to look over and see what they've chosen. Carl knows exactly what he's pulling out, and it's a big one, folks. And heading into the arena from the secondary timer, out comes the Piccolo from single player Carl as expected, and Lee Dai-Lin from Master McFancy Pants with Reflex retaining the Felix. We're gonna see a battle of the frontliners here in 5 seconds, folks. The tension is palpable as this is where it all comes down. Oh, violence already occurring out in the arena. Carl getting more damage on Reflex than Reflex got onto him. Seems like he's sending him a message about that last play. He seems furious. Taking it down to day 1, Carl immediately going out of the gate and going to his Piccolo opening. Immediately onto the chickens with the double hit, taking their meat and jumping over on the plant to go across the wall into alley. Immediately looking for his opportunities, he sees himself a build order and he's going for it. On those item plans, the all-important order in which they choose to go about those builds will become the most important thing they can use to their benefit. Knowing when to go for what and how much you can hold in your inventory before it's time to go grab more items can be the difference between being prepared and not being prepared. Carl already ready on his transition, immediately sliding into his items.
Quite a familiar place.
And already on the hunt, looking for the opponents. And hitting on those chickens to get level 6. The co-load machine is now online. Surfing through the animals as always, Carl picking up that meat off the ground to go give himself some hefty pieces of well-cooked beef. And rather taking the line transition, seems to be moving for something a little bit closer. Immediately coming from the lines around the gas station to immediately take control of the wolves. This man seems like a demon possessed with a plan. He leaves off. He goes looking. Finding himself some animals, and now he's starting to pick some mushrooms to give himself some much needed additions.
I don't think I can figure this out. I won't waste.
Ends up getting a special pickup. Picks up the shoes. Now he just has one more piece to pull out of school before he feels fully ready. Taking control of the cameras. Looking for opportunities.
A meteorite is about to fall.
Taking down both vision creatures to be able to get himself some well-needed vision. Still not having found that trash transition for Holy Orders.
Dig in deep. Don't take this.
Already ready for level 9. Danger pings coming out of the area of the police station. Carl's spying the movement on that Lumi, and he sees something.
I better catch at least one of these guys in the gym. You can't even hold the weapon correctly.
And Carl finds himself a reflex sight, immediately giving him a knockout, but is it going to cost him the door of the lab? It doesn't. He gets in barely with just enough time, sliding into a transition, getting an early knockout point on him, and setting him that little bit more back to cut him off from his point opportunity. He takes in to the points and is looking for the chance for what he wants to buy.
Remain calm, even in times like this. Thank God these machines are free.
Buys the meteorite for the Gyrion, holds the gift, and makes his way as quickly as he can to get to hotel, taking a transition straight from school. Hits the trash can, ends up finding the transition piece he needs, leaves behind the purple,
Is this all you got?
and is racing for the door.
Having a gun at all is a luxury. Dig in deep. Don't let your guard down.
Spots out the bush, and he finds himself his choice. It looks like he knows what he's doing. He's combining parts.
This looks
Online comes the holy orders.
the fruits of my effort. Humans are just like trees. They need strong roots to grow. Fast. Fast.
Taking down some additional animals before taking another line inside. Now, with 15 seconds to think, Carl decides what his next strategy is going to be. He takes over and gets himself a hunter spot, deciding he wants nothing more to do with searching for food and is going to start trying to figure out what he wants to spend on. With 200 points in his pocket, he's going to end up taking another free combat lab, and now has one more piece of transition to get to. See a knockout from an alpha coming through for members of the competitors, and with a storm starting to center around cemetery, giving an opportunity to take advantage of the fog before it comes down.
Are you ready?
Carl taking a very interesting dive over the wall, shooting straight across the line of cemetery, and coming straight into the zone from the backside of chapel. Have you ever seen a hook reach that far? And into the storm he's going. He's gonna have to decide on what he wants.
Don't follow just your eyes. Where's the focus? You can't even hold your weapon.
Ooh, and Carl pulling double bears. Both of these beefy creatures slamming him for its worth, putting him at half life. And around the corner comes Fancy looking for the opportunity.
Are you ready?
Ends up getting pulled on their own care of chickens. Carl avoiding the encounter and staying in the brush while finishing the animal. And up in the corner he goes, taking control of the special and walking away from the encounter, securing himself another choice line. But not without getting spotted on the cameras walking out.
I'll teach you a lesson. Don't follow just your eyes.
Carl makes the mad dash, leaves with his items, and is now on the 2 pieces of core he needs, getting that fencing mask online for that all-important skill up so the damage can begin to proceed. slamming the zone and slamming the items in. He's able even to luck into getting a mithril out of the box immediately on final pieces of transition as he races away from the zone as Lumi comes around the corner, spotting out that there's movement from player characters. We see Reflex has been able to get a kill on the other competitor in the room, putting the score currently at 1-1. Carl's going to need to not be so vegan. He's going to have to get into this compact, but he just does not seem ready.
Omega has been spotted.
Unfortunately, does not kill the bear in time to be able to get it down. It does take the loop over to go grab himself a boot just to secure the last piece that he needs. And with that completed, all transitions are done by the end of day 3. Now the Mega Man himself is out for blood. Now with the process of all things completed, begins the point where we're going to see the machine known as the nunchucks that move at the speed of Mach Jesus. Coming around in the area, boldly choosing to start the encounter while being spotted on a camera, giving his competitors the ability to know what's going on in the area around it, but seemingly too late for them to do so, grabbing the item and making his way out and down. Even using the tornado as an opportunity to slide into the next area he needs to get to. Out comes the water bottle from Carl since he doesn't need to use it, coming out with the combat epinephrine. It is go, Speed Racer, go as Carl continues to push through the area, trying to make his way to the next transition piece that he wants to use to get another upgrade as we go into day 4, and all bets are off now.
I see a tree of life has fallen. Come on, let's go. A meteorite.
With all things being equal, here's an opportunity for Carl to take that small mining upgrade, and he finds himself in a raw position where he will be able to face Dr. Wickline early. He keeps checking the scoreboard, trying to see if the other two have seen each other. And immediately over for his VF blood, this time wasting no opportunity, immediately slamming in an overshield. Choosing to take the extra 15 defense on the skill lamp on the bracelet, he turns it in for the Agala.
Let's go.
Begins setting himself up a fortress of defense. He gets a ping from the north side. He starts approaching from the corner. Oh, it is a menage a three-way in the corner here as all the competitors are live and open. Carl reaching back on the corner, taking as an opportunity. Reflex Sight taking the chance. Fancy running to say thank you for his second point. And Carl choosing to come in looking for the autos. And with the dash 2-2. And just like that, folks, gone in a flash. Both, like all three competitors, choosing to equally, without a plan, fuck Fancy in the ass. I can't believe it. And as we come out of the gate of the Fatal Freeway, we are seeing the points even up in Carl's favor. Where Carl leaves round 1 with 2 points. Both him and Reflex end up leaving with points of their own. And now equalized in their final, both Carl and Reflex equalizing the score again, competing for the first slot. Let's go over to the competitors and see how they feel. competitors coming out of that cavalcade in that full pile of pure man and skin. What do we have to say about who came out on top in that complete clusterfuck?
Never played against Piccolo before until today, so I was like really shocked to see. God, what is he like? What is his like counterpart in League that I want to say he's kind of like? I don't know, like Riven or something. I don't know. He feels like that, which is weird because that's like what Felix feels like. It's like a mix between Riven and Xin Zhao.
It is the case that the single-player Carl Piccolo is a complete terror of the arena whenever he chooses to take it in against competitors when he's fighting. Just simply on the preliminary friendly days, here we saw a lethal Carl choosing to give up a secure start line and specifically leading off to fight you with purples. How do you feel about that 1v1 taken on the edge of gas station and fire station?
Gas station, fire station. I mean, it was a fight.
It was indeed a fight. Carl coming out and showing pure teeth. As he says, this one's personal.
I mean, it ended like literally our last fight just now. It was exactly what happened in the first fight. Fancy and I were fighting. I killed him, and then you came in and died on the aftermath, third-partying me.
Well, it is the case.
Unfortunately, I was not trying to fight you. I was trying to jump him and such while you were trying to fight him. And unfortunately, because I hit you, I guess you thought that I was trying to fight you and such. And I was just like, great. Well, now it's now I guess it's a freaking 1v1 now. We're both dead.
In the case of the fight, it was the case that all three competitors seemed to be in the area ready and waiting for the Wicker Line. Carl coming out of the northwestern exit of Research Station, dropping down into the forest, tracking the noise, and trying to hold his cameras until it was time to engage, seeing Reflex first and starting the fight against him, only for Fancy to come from the south and join into the clusterfuck, making a true menage a trois. The fight continuing to single itself out as Carl isolates Fancy out from damage, and Fancy chooses to step away from Carl, forgetting that Reflex was on his tail and donating him the point, leading to the equalization on the board. Fancy, was that a decision to force Carl to have this 1v1 matchup against Reflex Sight, or were you scared for your life?
No, I was trying to fucking jump you, but I took too much fucking damage because I was right in the middle of the both of you.
And Reflex, how do you feel about the fortuitous nature of being donated to that point, giving you time to get the 1v1 against Carl for the sake of both of you in the competition?
I mean, points are points. Gonna need them. Fancy, I get what you were trying to do, but at the end of the day, points are points.
And taking it over, competitor Carl. Carl, how do you feel about what just transpired? Honestly, in that fight, I tried to do what I could. I saw one, then I saw two, then I said, I'm going to wind dragon somebody in the face with this nunchuck. I channeled the nunchuck, the air hit Fancy, so Fancy caught the broadside of my fucking nunchucks. He then chose that he would rather die to Reflex than die to me. And now he's put me in a 1v1 with this man, and he's telling me that he knows how to play characters like Felix. Lord help me if this motherfucker has decided to pick his hands up on history. I'm a little bit shocked. I'm a little bit disappointed in Fancy. He probably expected that he could be able to jump me, but didn't think about all three of us being in the same zone at once. I was a man on a mission. I came to put my foot in someone's ass, and it was unfortunate that my foot did not connect to the target I wanted to. So now it's on like Donkey Kong. It is on like Donkey Kong. Well,
to be fair, I had a lot of AoE in my kit, so I did not intentionally hit Fancy, but like I had to take that. I had to secure that kill on him in that end, knowing that shit. If I don't, I'm gonna lose points.
Well, it is the
also, I was actually only going down there to get a tree of life, by the way. I was not going in for the doctor.
Well, it is the case that because you and Carl have equalized your points and you are dead even, you too are going in to sudden death.
Alright. Then after that, I got to go.
Okay. Well, like on the outside corner as we're looking on for Fancy Pants. Fancy, do you have any words for Reflex as he goes into the 1v1 for Carl?
I'm gonna have to learn how the hell to deal with Felix and such, because I had no clue what the hell he even did and such before this, and I never even seen his face before. So when I just noticed that, I was like, oh well, he's okay. So I see he's already on top of me, and I already lost my half my health. It was
TLDR.
yeah, that wasn't fun.
TLDR, he gets 3 charges of every ability. They're all on the same cooldown, and on the 3rd charge, it's an empowered one. His Q knocks up, W dashes, and his E backs him further, and at the end of each one, he gets a shield. Like each end of the 3rd charge. So you get to combo it. So you can do like WQE, QQW, E, WQ, you know, it's any combination, and then your ultimate, it's kind of like the W, but then you get a free charge from any of your abilities.
Okay, because I was trying to see like how I was supposed to be dealing with you and such at the start, because I was trying to figure out that I was trying to fight you at the beginning and such, just to see like what you were what you were able to do and such, and I just had no idea like what I was getting into and such for that. So I was just
honestly, you like fighting games, right?
Yes.
You might like this character because he's very like combo fighter heavy, so you might like him.
They're
He's
all
also to play.
I'll check and see that like later.
Okay. So, we gonna start the 1v1, Carl?
Yes. It is the case that in the many of the audience, we have a competitor who is giving some backseat coaching. Carl doesn't seem to use his resources between his credits to create a remote kiosk to need not to go to a regular kiosk. In the case of this, competitor Carl wanted to hold the points in case he wanted to use the VLS to jump on top of a beacon site, and mostly uses the kiosks in situations where he knows he can purchase because he prefers to like to use the exchange feature, which cannot be done at a remote kiosk. However, in the final days, should he want to make a buy for a blood item, which might come important for the 1v1, it is the case that he will spend those points on it, as he likes to use recon drones and wind pushes to give himself a little bit of an edge of movement speed to get on top of his target. It was well played from all the competitors, but Fancy did not deserve this kind of loss. Reflex should only try to fight with a full health bar and reset the fight after the Fancy goes down there, if Reflex used the rest feature, and wanted to concede the fight. As Carl would have the item lead, it would also give him the chance for a blood over him. It would work out for him, but giving Carl the Wicker Line play is also a problem, because it denies him not only the Wicker Line, but gives Carl yet another tool to put more damage down to try and get him out for the start. And competitors, as we walk into the arena, we have to now go to the 1v1 sudden death condition, as it appears to be the case that Reflex would like to leave early, as he does have a prior engagement. Now, this will be similar to if they had to do so. Both competitors are going to have to agree to the single elimination play, as this is for all the marbles. Single player Carl, do you agree to the conditions of a sudden death match 1 fall? Yes, it's mine. We heard an opinion from competitor Carl. Reflex site, is it your opinion that you do agree to the conditions of a 1 fall? Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves skipping yet again the best out of 3, going immediately to single elimination 1 fall. In the left-hand corner, weighing in at morbidly obese with no signs of peace, we have the commentary clown himself, the rapid short-range rhetorician, master of both master of white women, and a triple black belt in the ways of BBC. You know him, you love him, the head Negro in charge, he of high fade, single player Carl! And in the left and in the right hand corner, the Carl Cordian and Dev Cordian, a man between two worlds committed fully to the astral griefs and the blue magic. He has shown us so much heart in competition and has bewildered his opponents leading in here today. It's the man, it's the myth, the legend, the insight assassin, Reflex Sight! Who will win? Who will lose? And who will be throwing those hands? Fighters, are you ready?
Yep, I'm good.
I'ma fuck this nigga in the ass, I'll tell you what! Audience, are you ready? It would appear the audience is not as quick on the draw as typing as they would be expected. They're gonna need some time to be able to voice their opinion. Let's just assume that they are in fact ready. Then let's not waste any more time! Press that button and run those hands! As he is competing, Reflex will have to leave the announcer's booth, but remaining with us is Mick Fancy Pants. Miss Fancy, what do you expect to be brought out here as Carl's going into this next encounter? What do you think is going to be the play that he's going to be looking for here?
I'm not really sure about the characters exactly, so.
It looks like Carl's made his choice.
Does today's story
We're going to wait 10 seconds for the choice. What do you think is going to be Carl's play here, knowing that he doesn't have a backup 2 rounds to fall out of to possibly make a point up? And going into the rounds, it is now Sua versus Felix. Five seconds remaining before we see it all come to an end, folks. And it's so palpable that Fancy can't even know what's gonna happen next. And neither do I, folks, but that's part of my job. Knowing and loving it. Rather than going to the competitors and getting a final word or say, we're instead going to go straight into the action. And we're just going to start making projections and guesses. The audience believes in Reflex Sight has the advantage in the matchup, knowing that Felix can be able to block Sua's auto attacks, and it is the case that Sua has the ability to block Felix's.
The end of despair.
I have no other choice.
3 seconds before the battle begins, immediately out of the gate, Carl taking that straight line choice. Is the factor here that as these competitors choose to face off, the thing that's going to make the difference now is not only who's going to see the opportunity for combat, but figuring out where the opponent is and challenging them at every single affair. Since every fight can end up leading to an opportunity to take out the other, it's going to be the case that they're going to want to build as quickly as possible, and they're going to want to control the opponent from having the ability to build items. As it's going to be much more important to make them weak and prevent them from having a chance to make it through the final end. Head to head, Felix does have the ability to be able to go through and block Sua's auto attacks with his skills, but Sua does have the ability with a double W to be able to deny him auto attacks. It can be the difference being able to land those Don Quixotes to put him in the air and possibly give an opportunity to get back on the right foot. Carl already out getting towards his upgrades and getting out with his purples. He's immediately out to the contest. Immediately over and taking over the chickens, taking whatever meat he can get and chemicals from the free drop, immediately making his food and going on the hunt. Carl opening up a container and finding himself a free pizza. And the other pieces for his transition. Walks over to the wolf spawn outside of forest, picks him up some lunch to go, and his passives. Walking immediately up through forest to go take his look through it and the looky-loo on all the animals that are available. Cleaning up the animals and walking towards the fire to secure himself that pizza and get him just a little bit more pressure time to get a little bit more push. Heading into the center of the map, Carl choosing to take control of the animal to get those early experience points. And some early vision to provide him opportunity to get some damage. throwing anything he doesn't need out of the inventory and reorganizing the inventory. He's now sitting on 4 pieces of transition with 3 pieces of food. That's 1 full inventory.
Still don't really know what they're researching.
Carl taking full control of the center of the island, choosing to take advantage of the research center before anybody else has a chance to come find him. And spotting the map,
From now
looking
on,
at what
you
transitions
die in
are
a
open.
dimensional rift. You won't respond. Think carefully before entering.
Walking around, he spots the target that he's looking for, immediately takes the line through,
Seems like the meteorite is on the ground. Careful with your head.
takes down all the chickens, and comes looking for an opportunity. Both competitors having cameras in the bushes, Carl taking the opportune position inside a fire station's room. Out around the corner comes Reflex. Reflex searching with items. He just now finishes his last build. Barely comes through and hits on the mark. And down goes Reflex there, but still has his revives. This tournament's still going on, folks.
The meteorite has collided.
Now we're on the day 2. That's going to cost him the opportunity for that reset, but unfortunately, because the fight is so far away from the resources, both are going to be denied unless they respawn immediately to get into that combat lab for the free resource. Carl taking advantage of what he took and taking himself a meteorite for the push and potentially getting himself online to the items he needs.
There's a crash.
Now this is going to really big downer in Carl's strategy because Carl usually chooses to go into the combat lab to gain the 3 mithril to finish the dress chest. So does he choose to take the line here, or is he going to choose... No, he chooses to summon the meteorite because the dress can wait. Walking down now, but then back again. Carl spots a catalyst that he can take
No other choice.
and is walking towards police station to get it. Pushing out the vision, he sees both vision creatures, takes both vision creatures, and arms himself with the well-needed use of insight and vision. With new resources provided and with an empty inventory, he now pushes himself towards the other corner to go get that guaranteed tree of life that's over inside a temple. Oh, a horribly mistimed Q is going to cost him the use of that copy. But using that copy to Quixote to get back over to his point is going to give him just a little time on this transition. Grabbing both vision off the animals, he is going to have to double back because of the misclick. Killing the chickens and walking over. Unfortunately, not getting the chance to reset that bear before it dies so they can get a second bear spawn. Remembering the rules of daytime wolves, nighttime bears. Again, just a little bit too far to go towards anything, but close enough to get himself a drop on the system. He's going to walk over and take control of that kiosk, as Alpha has already gone down inside a chapel, meaning the last one inside Fire Station. Carl looking for the opportunity to buy the items he needs. Unfortunately, doesn't have any, and is going to have to make his way towards that choice. That's going to lead him to have to take that teleport to gas station, where it's at least guaranteed Reflex has made possibly 1 to 2 items for his upgrades. Walking out and through, the fog activates back over inside a chapel where Carl could have been able to farm up a storm, but putting himself in a position where he needs to get that item, he's going to open up and start fighting the Alpha, accidentally getting clipped on the side and getting stunned. He's going to drop the double to try and get the position on the spot, and now needs to start moving his items around to get the chance to build the elegant gown. Could have built it out of the inventory, forgetting that slightly, so picking up his fried chicken, doesn't quite need it, but he wants it, up, can't be able to manage for it, so just leaving it on the ground. Well, I've got pizza anyways. Making his way over, and now dealing with the switch out as the Hyperloop changes to the VLS in his face. Carl still walking down, looking for a place to be able to kiosk from.
Used to have regular photo pills at the library.
finding himself the ability to get it from here. Walking over and trying to give himself just a little bit of protection. Choosing to turn it into an item. He's going to buy the Tree of Life and just finish the fencing mask now. It's going to give him his all-important fencing mask passive to get Blaze up so he has the amplification. And he's going to sit on the boots, canceling out the build because he doesn't need them as he goes looking to try to end this. Carl getting a pity drop off the floor, gets another one, can now actually choose to just take the item and buy something. Isn't looking for anything special, just looking through what he can get. Mostly attack and defense, so he might as well change it over and just secure the boot anyways. Puts in the glacial slippers and now is on full build transition. That he is going to have to go for the final battle. Now looking to find any vision of what's going on around him to get himself a chance to do something. Taking control of the fire station brush and getting a little bit of spotting in his area around him by taking that hawk. He's going to cut through the center of the line of the map, choosing to take control of the area around Omega, but no guarantee that he'll actually get a fight here. He's going to have to go pushing and look if he wants to find his opponent. Finish killing animals. Goes and sees that there's a fog that's available. He's going to start making guesses about where his opponent can be. Reflex being good at keeping himself radio quiet, not making much noise to be capitalized on the map. Carl moving through the area trying to find the opponent and get an opportunity for additional vision control. And just not finding it. Ooh, getting booted out by that board, launching him across the wall. That's going to sting. The fog activates, and Carl has the ability to now have to farm the animals inside the fog while maintaining awareness of the area around him. Kills one animal, walks out of the zone, seems to be trying to leave to go take control to go hunt his opponent. Unfortunately gets shorted on his Don Quixote over the wall, uses the copy, tucks the catalyst to catch the movement speed, and is trying to find any vision he can on where he could possibly be. Seemingly pulling back a hand of nothing, 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 looking nothing. He's walking around the areas of the zone to just farm what he can, and now with revival kits off the floor, even with a kill lead, it doesn't mean that he's shut down and they can stop the Felix from getting to his item buys. The foggy field becomes inactive inside of the area cemetery as Carl continues to walk around. Now finally getting vision on the Omega. The Omega going down in the area of fire station. It's going to give him a chance to be able to find that zone, be able to do something to get some awareness. Camera in the bush waiting for Carl to spot the vision. He's going to see that rotation and be able to make a decision and choice. Just getting a bare look of the inside of the station. Knocking him away, trying to put in much damage as possible as Carl cuts the distance and is going to try to just get a reset on the other side outside of vision. Carl walking back in the zone, looking for an opportunity. Oh, Carl seemed to turn the distance with that pushback, giving himself just enough damage, and down goes Reflex on the turn. A good masterclass of exactly advice given from members of the audiences that Carl should have been able to have push against him by Reflex, now getting capitalized on Carl. It's a combination from across the dome. And leaving out of the arena, Carl is going to come home as champion competitor from the first fortnight running of the hands, let's go down to the competitors and get some final words to say before he of high fade gives his ruling. Competitors, coming out of that match, we can say that a lot was left there on the floor. What reflex do you have to say to us before you have to leave to parts unknown for what you have to do today?
I just made one mistake in that fight of missing 2 different cues to get too much damage, or to get damage on you, and then I got hit by your book ability. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but I do gotta go. That was actually a lot of fun. Got my cousin's birthday to go to. Man, I wish she would have given everybody a lot of notice. Anyways, I just had fun. I'm gonna play more Felix. I think I found the character that's kind of for me. I want to try Istvan when I get enough A coins, which I need to play the actual game more instead of just playing customs with y'all. I also wish I was level 16 instead, so I can get a 3rd point into the ultimate, because that would have helped me with a little bit of extra damage overall. But that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, we release you from your duties and bonds. Go have fun at your family member's wedding and or birthday.
Birthday.
And know
my
that
brother's wedding is later. Way later.
and know and walk off knowing that you did your best and you performed as well as you could be expected to, and that's all anybody ever asked.
Yep. That was actually a lot of fun. So, have a good one. Bye.
And as he leaves us here, we turn to Master McFancy Pants. Fancy, do you have any opinions about what just transpired in front of us?
Or you mean during the match or in general?
In the match, but in general can also work if you have opinions on that too.
I was only partly watching it.
Going over to the opinions of the audience and Crown, let's go towards Joseo Voltacutiu, who has a lot to say about the opinion of this matchup. It was with the opinion that Reflex Side has the advantage of the matchup, being able to block Sua's auto attacks. However, the irony is that Sua can also do the same. But Felix's AoE damage does make for a threat that Sua has to contend with, as that was the reason Carl had to back off that first engagement, as he did lose a lot of health and was actually losing the trade before he landed the bat swing to stun them into the wall to get the getaway. It's to note that Sua doesn't just lose damage on the auto attacks being blocked, but also loses the use of healing, as without having the ability to use Bookmark, she does not get the ability to heal with her Squeaky Hammer when she chooses to match it on the head. While the matchups do matter, it is the opinion that Carl will have an item lead when it's integral to winning the 1v1, with Carl almost always managing to have full build by Might 3 and keeping on good farm. Playing a clean strategy, which is for playing for resources and then fights, and then forcing the enemy into a lose-lose situation, taking away all options and forcing him to play his game. Fighting him in objectives when he has a read and you lose heck and you risk wiping, don't fight him at all, and he continues to get stronger. But with a position where he was guaranteeing an opportunity where he'd be able to knock out both competitors by just simply being on the top of the ladder, thus allowing him a chance to stay clean, he was forced to fight the death match and thus had to take the fight against an unknown variable that was not in his strategy, as no one had ever seen Reflex Sight play Felix. And not only play Felix, but pilot Felix with semi-competency and decency to be consistent enough to put the black man down like the dog he is. Leading here into this matchup, we saw that in that quarter trade, Carl almost could have lost everything right there, but by choosing to reset the fight out of vision and re-engaging once he had the terms of having better vision in his pocket, he was able to take the opportunity to his hand, be able to outplay the use of the ultimate, and just simply to shave him down like a dog. But, per the rules of the tournament, he of High Fade must make a ruling on the fact that Carl is not allowed to take home the $20, so let's cut to the man himself and see what he of High Fade has to say. Those of you who have heard about the Dorito Post, known as Greg, known as Jeff Keighley, but here around in the Negrohood HOA, we have He of High Fade, who permanently wears the ceremonial frock of the Mountain Dew Baja Blast Snuggie. Leading over now to He of High Fade. It is of the opinion that all competitors have fought the best. But in the hands of what we have to expect to see, we've had ourselves a good moment of opportunity. Here I declare my ruling for this first running of the hands. As the head Negro in charge may not be allowed to win the $20, but the competitors agreed to a money match of a 1v1. But the competitor lost and must leave the room. I decree that the $20 will go to the hands of the competitor who is still remaining from the menage a trois. Therefore, I rule that Fancy shall leave with the $20. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it here first from He of High Fade. Despite being knocked out in the last round, Fancy is taking home the cash prize. Fancy, what do you have to say about the ruling from He of High Fade?
I am way too salty and annoyed right now to accept that.
Well, it's the case that you can choose to take it or leave it, but if it doesn't come to you here, it will be given away to somebody else at another date.
I'm just like, I don't.
It's we to understand that you do not want to take the money.
No, I don't want to.
Well, going against He of High Fade's ruling is a decision, but it is also your choice. It means that the $20 is going to go back into the pot and potentially be used at another situation where competition can be provided. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have seen it all here first. We've saw some good bouts and good matches between both days of competition, but finishing out the tournament in the top spot in number 1, single player Carl, finishing second, Reflex Sight, choosing to take the choice to go into the sunset and go enjoy touching grass outside, and in third, still slightly angry and looking to improve, one Master McFancy Pants. What a generous choice from him to go against the ruling of He of High Fade. Ladies and gentlemen, we have brought you here some of the best amateur bouts that we could provide from the community of Single Player Carl. And the first running of the Fade will now conclude with a definite winner, but no one going home with the feel-good prize. And it's a choice, alrighty. It's a choice to have been decided, but it is what it is, and it is what it is. Never run out of your own supply. And from here, I've been Commentator Carl, speaking on behalf of all the Carls. If you wish to see more content, commentary, gameplay, interactions, and community outreach like this, feel free to support your Carl by becoming a supporter of the franchise that is the United Negro Carl Fund, as a Carl is a terrible thing to waste. Note that you can be able to find the place to support Carl in all places on both Twitch TV, Ko-fi.com, Subscribestar, YouTube members, and YouTube payments through Super Chats, and you can also choose to follow and subscribe to him by becoming a follower on Cajun, that is Caramel Cajun, on Twitter.com, because nobody calls it X. Here from inside of the live studio, I am Commentator Carl. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night, and we will see you next week.